Welcome to Chinese Novel Audiobook. Chapter 1, Investment System. Wang Xiu was desperate. He transmigrated. He was transmigrated to the immortal cultivation world and became a son of a top wealthy family. As for why transmigrate becomes an apex-level giant, why would you still feel desperate? Because his career as a young master is almost over. The body that Wang Xiu transmigrate replaced had an incredible background. Grandfather. He was the king of Wei in the Great Xia Immortal dynasty, who used the emperor to control the princes. He wore a sword and shoes when entering the palace, did not bow when entering the court, and did not use his name when praising or bowing. Even the young Emperor Xia would tremble when he saw him. Grandmother. He is the founder of the Langya Chamber of Commerce, the largest chamber of commerce in Beihai, and is extremely wealthy. Father. He was a soldier and butcher who dominated the borderland. He once massacred 400,000 Japanese monsters in the East China Sea. His notoriety was so great that he could stop children from crying at night. As for the mother, he is the current Holy Lord of Baiming Sacred Land among the 10 great sacred lands, and is known as the greatest sword Dao genius in the Ashen Essence world in the past 3,000 years. It is said that like dragons give birth to dragons, like phoenixes give birth to phoenixes. With such bloodline in his predecessor, at least he must have been an apex-level cultivation genius. However, the reality is not so. Predecessor. He was born when his parents were trapped in a restricted area. The power of a mysterious curse invaded his body and he was unable to practice cultivation at all. Even the precious medicine Immortal pill had no effect. If you cannot practice cultivation, it means you can only be immortal with a lifespan of 100 years. For a family of immortal cultivators like the Wang family, what difference is there between this and a child dying at birth? The Wang family has been a single-line family for 3 generations. In order to break this situation, they thought of countless ways. For example, in the lineage of the great Xia sovereign clan martial king, there was a unicorn who was born with supreme bones, unprecedented in history. When Qiliner was just 1 month old, the king of Wei came to his house in person and dug out the supreme bone, intending to transplant it to Wang Xiu. Unfortunately, not only did the transplant fail. As for the Qilin boy, he didn't know what kind of opportunity he got, but he actually recast the supreme bone and stood up again after it was destroyed. Later, he joined the rebel army to attack King Wei. For example, the Wang family heard that there was a peerless monster immortal in the transcending tribulation stage in the southern domain, who was transformed from a 100,000-year-old pure world white lotus, and whose natal lotus seeds had the effect of purifying curses. The mother of the previous incarnation, the Holy Lord of Beiming. He went to the southern domain in person with a sword, fought for 7 days and 7 nights, and finally killed him. However, the lotus seeds were not only ineffective against the predecessor. The monster immortal even left behind a son with half-human race blood, who escaped during the chaos and sneaked into the human kingdom. Later, by chance, he married into the Punglai Chamber of Commerce and soared to fame. For another example, a sacred body who was invincible in ancient times but has become useless in recent times. He possesses the priceless treasure primordial violet qi. However, when he participated in the Langya Chamber of Commerce auction, he was spotted by the head of the Chamber of Commerce. If you want to seize the opportunity, please present it to the young master of the Wang family. Chase him for thousands of miles and force him into the restricted area. But not only did he not die, but he reappeared in the world many years later and became the saint child of the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning, standing in complete opposition to the sacred land of the North Sea. Besides, when his predecessor was 15 years old, he fell in love with the Taoist partner of an inner sect disciple from Baiming Sacred Land. Regardless of the fact that the other party was already engaged, he directly snatched the love away, hugged the delicate beauty, and forcefully forced her to cancel the engagement. The other party suffered a great humiliation and shouted, 30 years in the east, 30 years in the west, don't bully the young and poor. As a result, his dantian was shattered and he was demoted from an inner sect disciple to a herbalist. I have suffered humiliation for 3 years. Have a look. Which of these victims is easy to bully? Each of them has a destiny to be the protagonist. Wang Mu's identity. The villain who is set in stone is used to attract hatred for the protagonist, serve as a target, and extract gold coins. These days, rumors have been circulating on Changsheng Island where Wang Xiu lives. For example, the Punglai Chamber of Commerce joined forces with other chambers of commerce to engage in marketing games, resulting in huge losses for the Langya Chamber of Commerce. In a recent trial, the core disciples of the sacred land of Baiming were targeted by the elite forces of the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning and others, resulting in heavy casualties. Several scattered branches of the Wang family were also slaughtered by some mysterious people. The generals under the King of Wei were defeated by Huang Tianhuang. Although the details are not clear. But one leaf can herald the coming of autumn. After all, in order to prevent Wang Xiu from worrying, the elders of the Wang family always reported good news to him but not bad news. Now the bad news can reach his ears. Illustrate. The real situation is far more serious than he knows. Now Wang Xiu is just an ordinary person. If the Wang family is destroyed, where can he run to in this vast world? Just when Wang Xiu was feeling deeply desperate, a voice suddenly sounded in his mind. Bite. A mysterious curse has been detected on the host, and the power has begun to be removed. The curse power has been cleared, and the system begins binding. Supreme investment system has been bound. System. Wang Mu's eyes lit up. Then, a lot of detailed information about the system emerged in his mind. The host can invest in the geniuses around him and bind himself to them. From then on, you can get a return of the profits in proportion to all the cultivation achievements of the other party. The higher the investment completion rate, the greater the return ratio. The investment cost and return are determined by the target's worth, talent, potential and other factors. Closing square bracket. Tip. The host gains income, which does not affect the cultivation progress of the investment object. Wang Xiu thought for a moment. In other words, even if you don't practice, as long as you spend money and keep investing in others, you can become stronger. He decided to give it a try. Turning his head, Wang Xiu looked at Xiao Kei on his shoulder. A golden transparent light curtain appeared before his eyes. Name: Wang Fugi. Age: 8 years old, childhood. Race: golden winged great pung. Realm: gold core midterm. Qualification: divine, origin loss, bloodline not awakened. Features: dragon eater, has a strong bloodline suppression on ordinary dragon races. Devours dragon races or spirit medicine and treasures containing dragon race energy, which helps nourish the origin. After the bloodline awakens, the training speed and combat power will increase by more than 10 times. Investment evaluation: huge potential, suitable for investment. Closing square bracket. Wang Xiu is unable to practice cultivation, but he is an apex level 3 immortal after all, so he still has some common sense. In this spiritual world, spirit root qualifications are divided into low grade, middle grade, high grade, supreme grade, divine grade, and immortal grade. They correspond to the potentials of the 6 realms: chi refining, foundation building, gold core, nascent soul, soul formation, and transcending tribulation. The egg of this giant eagle was taken out by his mother from the ancient forbidden area of Southern Domain. However, it had insufficient innate ability and was almost a dead egg when it was discovered. It took 10 years of careful nurturing with all kinds of rare treasures before it finally hatched with great difficulty. The origin is inevitably at a loss, and the potential is not as great as before. Characteristic: dragon eating. So, investing in a tonic containing dragon race essence would be of the greatest help to it. Wang Xiu stared at the attribute column of his pet eagle, thoughtfully. The ring on the index finger gleams. 12 golden beads appeared in front of Wang Xiu. Dinghai Dragon Ball. It is a treasure formed by the essence of the true dragon race. It contains the lifelong essence of dragon race. Extremely precious. Whether used for pill refining or artifact refining, it is a supreme grade material. If directly refined, it becomes an extremely nourishing transcendent level supplement. The 12 in front of us are from the pure-blooded dragon race at the peak of the nascent soul period. It is no exaggeration to say that it is priceless. Chapter 2: Return on Investment, Tianhuang Fighting Dragon Technique. What? Why is such a precious treasure in the hands of this kid Wang Xiu? It's very simple. He is the only bloodline of the Wang family in 3 generations. Wang Xiu is under a curse that cannot be resolved, and the elders all feel that they owe him something. To make up for Wang Xiu, starting from the full moon banquet, the Wang family would hold a grand celebration on Wang Mu's birthday every year. Those who attend the banquet will also bring generous gifts. What? These treasures are useless to Wang Xiu, is it a waste? It doesn't matter. As long as the children like it, the elders will agree even if they use the Dinghai Dragon Ball as a ball to kick. And, from grandfather onwards, every member of the Wang family is a ruthless person. Even if there are not many guests invited to the family dinner, but the Wang family didn't invite you, will you not send gifts to congratulate them? Perhaps the Wang family couldn't remember what gifts others had given. But what if you remember that you didn't give a gift? Doesn't that mean a disaster has come from the sky and that there is a way to die? No one dares to bet their life on this. Therefore, over the past decade or so, the Wang family has received numerous gifts every year. Relying on these birthday gifts that were not, temporarily kept, by the elders, my predecessor accumulated a huge fortune. I'm not bragging. Even many Earth immortals in the transcending tribulation stage cannot guarantee that their family background will be richer than Wang Emu's. Come on, open your mouth. Looking at the dragon ball that Wang Xiu took out, the golden bird's eyes widened. Chirp, chirp. It jumped for joy, its eyes full of desire and want. Wang Xiu didn't keep the little thing in suspense and directly shot a Dinghai dragon pearl into the little bird's mouth. Boom. As the dragon ball entered its stomach, the little bird's feathers suddenly glowed with golden light, and its body flew up, revealing its true form in the air. Ooh, the sharp and high-pitched chirping sound can be heard thousands of miles away. The surrounding waves were boiling and surging, and countless sea fish were frightened by the power and lost consciousness, drifting with their bellies upside down. The golden light is getting brighter and brighter. Until it is impossible to look directly at it, it is like a golden sun, bright and dazzling. Congratulations on your successful investment in the mythical beast, Wang Fugi. Congratulations, you have successfully invested one Dinghai Dragon Ball in Wang Fugi, and the investment progress has reached 10%. You will receive 10% of Wang Fugi's subsequent cultivation results as a reward. Congratulations, you have received a reward for your cultivation achievements from Wang Fugi. Please keep up the good work. As the prompt sounded, Wang Emu's dantian was originally empty. Strands of milky white spirit chi began to rapidly evolve. At the same time, an unprecedented feeling of comfort filled Wang Emu's whole body, making him moan uncontrollably. Well done, Wang Fugi. Wang Xiu smiled and threw 9 Dinghai dragon balls into the air. Whoosh! A flash of golden light. All 9 dragon balls were swallowed by the golden bird. Its wings became brighter and brighter, and seemed to be burning under the sunlight. The extremely powerful pressure poured out in all directions, causing huge waves. Gold core midterm. Gold core late stage. Gold core peak. Early nascent soul. Congratulations, you have successfully invested one Dinghai Dragon Ball in Wang Fugi, and the investment progress has reached 20%. You will receive 20% of Wang Fugi's subsequent cultivation results as a reward. Congratulations, you have received a reward for your cultivation achievements from Wang Fugi. Congratulations, you have successfully invested one Dinghai Dragon Ball in Wang Fugi, and the investment progress has reached 30%. You will receive 30% of Wang Fugi's subsequent cultivation results as a reward. Congratulations on receiving the return of your cultivation results from Wang Fugi. Opening square bracket, closing square bracket. Congratulations, you have successfully invested one Dinghai Dragon Ball in Wang Fugi, and the investment progress has reached 100%. You will receive 100% of Wang Fugi's subsequent cultivation results as a reward. Congratulations, you have completed your absolute investment in Wang Fugi. Please keep up the good work and create more brilliance. Wang Xiu grinned and said, sure enough, Krypton gold is the kingly way. Etc. Suddenly, the smile on Wang Emu's face froze. Something is wrong. He discovered something was wrong. System, I invested a full 10 Dinghai Dragon Balls. If the investment progress is increased to 100%, I can get the exact same training results as it, right? Yes. Wang Emu's face darkened. Then please explain why it broke through from the middle stage of gold core to the early stage of nascent soul in one go. But the spirit chi in my body is only at the chi refining 7th layer level. Evil creature. You wouldn't take the kickbacks from the profits that should have been given to me. System not available. The system will not. The system is not that kind of system. Host, please do not slander the system's innocence out of thin air. Hearing the system's 3 consecutive denials, Wang Emu's mouth twitched slightly, then explain it to me. Where's my dividend? Where did they all go? Host, please don't misunderstand. There is no problem with the system's profit return process. All returned spirit chi and mana will be purified by the system and converted into the purest original spiritual power to be fed back to the host. During the purification process, spirit chi and mana will be compressed to the extreme, and the quality will be greatly improved, so the quantity will be reduced. But the quality of the spiritual power is even more refined than the power of transcending tribulation stage Earth Immortal. I see. The spirit chi and magic power obtained from practicing different races, physiques, and techniques cannot be fed back to Wang Xiu mindlessly. Otherwise, once a conflict occurs, he will be blown to pieces in minutes. And, although Wang Xiu is only at the chi refining 7th layer level now, the spiritual power in his body is even purer than the magic power of the transcending tribulation stage Earth Immortal. That is to say, unless Wang Xiu exposed himself voluntarily, even the transcending tribulation stage Earth Immortal would not be able to see through the true and false of his cultivation. And, if a fight really breaks out, relying on this pure spiritual power, cultivators of the same level will definitely not be able to be Wang Xiu's opponent. Fighting 1 against 100 or 1,000 is as easy as killing chickens and dogs. Even if he was fighting against foundation building stage monks of a higher level, he could still crush them with ease, and it would not be much more difficult than killing a chicken. This is the treatment for a jerk. Just as Wang Xiu was carefully sensing the changes in his body. In the sky, the golden-winged great pung eagle changed again. Its eyes burst into an incomparably bright holy light, and a magnificent sky rock hundreds of feet in size condensed behind it. Congratulations host, your investor Wang Fugi swallowed the dragon ball and successfully refined the essence in it, awakened his bloodline, and improved his aptitude, immortal grade. Congratulations, you have received the reward of your cultivation achievements from Wang Fugi. Congratulations on obtaining the golden-winged great pung bloodline, which has been perfectly integrated into your own bloodline. Congratulations on improving your speed, strength and other aspects of your quality. Congratulations on obtaining the golden-winged great pung clan's inherited skill, Tianhuang breathing method. Congratulations on obtaining the golden-winged great pung clan's inherited skill, golden light afterimage escape. Congratulations on obtaining the golden-winged great pung clan's inherited skill, Tianhuang fighting dragon technique. Congratulations, your breathing technique has improved. Congratulations, your attainment in the art of physical movement and escape has improved. Congratulations, your hand-to-hand combat skills have improved. Congratulations, your spirit chi affinity has increased. Congratulations, your understanding has improved. Congratulations, your cultivation speed has increased. Chapter 3 Protagonist Template, Dian's Sacred Body. Cool. Wang Xiu's eyes were burning, and he let out a long roar towards the sky, feeling extremely happy. Really? In this immortal cultivation world where destined protagonists are everywhere and geniuses are no better than dogs, hard work can only make you a supporting role, and cheating is the only way to go. However, although he felt great, Wang Xiu did not feel complacent or lazy at all. After all, there are several swords of Damocles hanging over your heads as the destined protagonists, ready to fall at any time. At the rate those Son of Fortunes are growing, who knows when the great accomplishment will come and kill you. Don't dare to gamble. I can't afford the gamble. Thinking of this, the joy that had just risen in his heart was quickly suppressed by Wang Xiu. Throw money around. Invest. This young master wants to become stronger as quickly as possible. Not enough. Looking at the golden-winged great pung soaring excitedly in the sky, Wang Xiu murmured to himself, it's far from enough to rely on Wang Fugi alone to lead the way. We need to find more people to invest. But who should I look for? Wang Xiu gently stroked his chin and fell into deep thought. There really aren't many targets suitable for bargain hunting investment. That's right. How could I forget about him? Current situation. The most suitable target for investment should be Lin Yan, who had his Taoist partner robbed by his predecessor and was demoted to a menial disciple. After all, this opening template is so classic, he is definitely the destined protagonist. However, given the grudge between him and me now, I'm afraid it will be difficult for him to accept my kindness. Wang Xiu felt a little annoyed. Forget it, never mind. Try it first. Even if you cannot complete the investment, you must try your best to weaken the other party's hostility. At this time, it is best to be kind to others first and resolve any cause and effect that can be resolved. Otherwise, when all the destined protagonists come together, even if Wang Xiu has the system to protect him, he may not be able to withstand it. According to my previous incarnation's memory, Lin Yan should be in the outer area now. Wang Xiu thought for a moment and set off immediately. Sacred Land of Baiming. It is one of the 3 great sacred lands in the Northern Territory. Governs billions of miles of ocean. It is divided into core area, inner area, outer area, and fringe area. In the core area, there are a total of 36 fairy islands, where the spirit chi is the most abundant, and it is also where the high-level people of sacred land live and practice. Wang Xiu also lives within this area. Inner area. There are hundreds of islands in total, which are where the inner disciples of sacred land usually live and practice. Outlying area. There are thousands of islands that belong to the sect industry of biming sacred land. Most of them are medicine islands and mining islands, which are mined by the outer disciples and registered disciples of sacred land. As for the outermost edge area, strictly speaking, it is no longer the area where the sect is stationed, but the territory governed by sacred land. Marginal area. There are tens of thousands of islands, scattered like stars in the North Sea, inhabited by countless human race people. Some islands have even formed a situation of multi-country competition. These islands, all of them submitted to the sacred land of biming and paid tribute and taxes to the sacred land. The chosen ones from all the forces on the island are proud to join biming sacred land and become its disciples. In fact, Lin Yan was originally from the fringe area, the son of a noble on an island. He did not move into the inner area until he became an inner disciple of sacred land. But, later, he offended his predecessor, was abolished and demoted to the medicine island in the outer area, where he watered, fertilized, weeded and caught insects for spirit medicine. Now, outlying area, on Bian Island. Waste. Today, the watering and fertilizing of these 50 acres of spirit medicine are all in your hands. The crystal is monitoring everything about you. If you dare to slack off and I find out, you will know what cruelty is. The fat and big-eared steward, holding a law weapon whip in his hand, stood on the platform and showed off his power. In the medicine field, the young man was wearing a worn-out sweatshirt and carrying a dung bucket, watering the medicinal field under the scorching sun. On the arm, on the calf, there were marks of whipping all over the exposed skin, which looked hideous and horrifying. Hole. Brute. The boy scooped up manure water to irrigate the medicinal field while cursing in a low voice, "One day, I will kill you all." Kill him. Buzz. Just as the young man was feeling indignant, the simple ring on his right index finger trembled slightly, and a stream of pure spirit chi flowed through his body like a clear spring. Yunlai. The kind old man's voice rang in Lin Yan's mind, "Don't let hatred affect your Tao heart. You have awakened your sacred body. As long as you grow up, the Wang family is nothing to worry about. Now, your top priority is to practice peacefully and complete the foundation building as soon as possible. Only by breaking through to the foundation building stage will you have a chance to escape from Bian Island and the territory governed by biming sacred land. From then on, you will have a bright future." Lin Yan closed his eyes and took a deep breath. When he opened his eyes again, the hatred in his eyes had been completely hidden. "Teacher, don't worry, I understand." Hee. Wang Xiu, you could never have imagined in your dreams that I could meet my teacher. Under the help and guidance of my teacher, I not only successfully healed my Dantian injury but also awakened my sacred body. In just 2 months, I was able to return to the chi refining 9th layer. I'm really looking forward to it. If you, a useless person who can't practice, saw me now, what kind of expression would you have? He. The boy sneered in a low voice. Thinking of the scene in the future where he would reach the top and step on Wang Xiu under his feet, he couldn't help but become extremely excited. Power. The unprecedented motivation for practice makes him full of energy every day. Just at this moment, the medicinal field, which was originally bright and sunny, became dark. The sharp cry of the rock pierces the clouds and splits the rocks, making countless people frightened. Lin Yan looked up subconsciously. But then they saw an extremely huge divine rock spreading its wings and flying across the sky over Bian Island, and on the head of the divine rock stood a graceful young man in white. The man on the street is as beautiful as jade, and the young man is unparalleled in the world. The young man's extraordinary demeanor, like a banished immortal, was enough to fascinate countless women and make countless men feel ashamed of themselves. However, looking at him, Lin Yan couldn't help but grit his teeth, his eyes were red. It's him. It was this beast who stole his beloved Yunlai 3 years ago. It also destroyed his cultivation, turning him from a glorious inner disciple of the sacred land into a herbal farmer who is bullied by others. This beast. Why are you coming to Bian Island again? Could it be that you haven't had enough of humiliating me and you're here to wipe me out? No. If he really wants to wipe out the entire clan, I, who am only at the chi refining 9th layer, will never be able to resist. Even if the teacher took action and controlled my body, it would be difficult to defeat the big C*K under his crotch. Tolerate. You have to endure it. Don't look down on the young people because they are poor. I can bear it. Think of this. Lin Yan suppressed his rage, forced a smile, and followed the fat-headed and big-eared steward to kneel down in the direction of the golden-winged great Peng Eagle. Welcome to the Saint Child. Whoosh! The golden-winged great Peng Eagle shrank rapidly, carrying Wang Xiu to the ground steadily. And at this time, Wang Xiu also truly saw the young man in front of him who was the prototype of the protagonist. Good job. This kid is so miserable. He was wearing a torn sweatshirt, was tanned by the sun, and had scars all over his body. This is not the treatment of a protagonist at all, it's simply a tragedy. But, when the system page appeared in front of him, Wang Xiu was sure, this guy is really the protagonist template. Not only are the talents superb, but there is also a buy one get one free deal for an old man. Chapter 4, Great Emperor's Talent, the Grandfather. Name, Lin Yan. Age, 18. Race, human race. Realm, Qi refining 9th layer. Qualification, Great Emperor. Features, Sacred Body of Emperor Flame, can devour the essence of all kinds of demonic fire, spirit fire, and immortal fire in the world, and increase one's own cultivation and aptitude. This sacred body requires a firm and resolute heart to control, otherwise when devouring the essence of fire, it will be extremely dangerous and there is a danger of self-immolation. Investment evaluation, huge potential, suitable for investment. Closing square bracket. Name, Dan Zhan. Age, 3241. Race, human race residual soul. Realm, none, Earth immortal in the previous life. Talent, spirit body, having a strong control over the spirit medicine of the world, practicing alchemy can achieve twice the result with half the effort. Investment evaluation, a timely help, suitable for investment. Closing square bracket. Good job. Fortunately, I came early. This guy, quietly repaired to the Qi refining 9th layer. Plus there is an old man around to give advice. Come a few days later. Who knows, he might really succeed in foundation building and escape from Bian Island, and from then on he could enjoy the vast seas as fish leap and the high skies as birds fly. And, look at the system's evaluation of him, the potential of a great emperor. Good job. You should know that transcending tribulation stage Earth Immortal is divided into several levels. The 3rd layer of tribulation is Earth Immortal, the 6th layer of tribulation is Earth Immortal, and the 9th layer of tribulation is Earth Immortal. Every time you pass through the 3rd layer of tribulation, your strength will have a qualitative leap. And the Great Emperor, it is a supreme existence that has survived the 36th layer Thunder Tribulation and achieved the Earth Immortal realm, making it invincible in the world. Even if there are enemies coming from the sky, there are strong men from the immortal world coming across the domain. Ordinary celestial immortals, even true immortals, can be suppressed with a single move of a finger in front of the Great Emperor. They are incredibly powerful. Lin Yan is indeed the destined protagonist. He actually has the qualities to be a great emperor. If he were allowed to escape, within a few years, it might become the last straw that breaks the camel's back for the Wang family. Wang Xiu took a deep breath, forced a smile, and tried his best to appear kind. But this smile, in Lin Yan's eyes, it looked hideous and terrifying, like a grinning devil. This beast is smiling so sinisterly, what conspiracy is he planning? He has taken my Yunlai away. My cultivation has been wasted. Now, you still won't let me go. Lin Yan roared in his heart. Saint Child. At this moment, the fat steward next to him came forward with a smile on his face and said, according to your instructions, I have been treating this loser well for the past 3 years. Are you satisfied? Do you want to increase the intensity? I promise that I will not let Saint Child down. Wang Xiu. Looking at the fat guy with a smile on his face, Wang Xiu had 1,000 curse words to say in his mind. Good job. What a stupid teammate. I had a lot of explanations to offer, but I didn't have the chance to speak them out. You just doubled your hatred for me, hating that my villain character isn't stable enough, right? Although Lin Yan was kneeling on the ground respectfully, the hatred in his eyes could no longer be concealed and was almost overflowing. Wang Xiu only felt his scalp tingling and his whole body running cold. You can go now. Wang Xiu looked at the fat steward next to him and said indifferently. The steward was stunned for a moment. Seeing Wang Mu's cold eyes, and thinking of Saint Child's bad reputation, he couldn't help but shudder. Yes, 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 I obey your command. After saying that, the steward rolled himself into a ball and rolled away quickly. The manager did not dare to stand up until the figure disappeared from the sight of Wang Xiu and Lin Yan, which showed how much awe and fear he had for Wang Xiu. That, Seeing that his stupid teammates finally left, Wang Xiu looked at Lin Yan and forced a smile on his face. If this saint child said, 3 years ago, I stole your Taoist partner and destroyed your cultivation. It was for your own good. Do you believe it? Lin Yan, evil beast. Do you want to listen carefully to what you are playing? What a statement. Looking at Wang Xiu's sincere face, Lin Yan felt a tightness in his chest and was so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. Take away my Taoist partner. Waste my cultivation. You're telling me, this is for my own good. Good job on your grandma's legs. Do you believe what you said? If the situation is not stronger than people. Lin Yan really wanted to just storm up and fight this beast to the death. However, when he looked up and saw the golden little bird on Wang Xiu's arrow, the anger and murderous intent in his eyes were immediately hidden. As long as the Green Mountains remain, there will be no shortage of firewood. Now, you have to endure it. I can bear it. Lin Yan forced a smile on his face. I believe it. No, you don't. Looking at Lin Yan, whose eyes were red and bloodshot, Wang Xiu sighed. I can see that you have resentment towards me. It's okay, I don't blame you. Lin Yan, so shameless. You don't blame me. Thank you so much. Brother Lin. Wang Xiu's eyes were blazing, and he patted Lin Yan's shoulder heavily. Do you know that you are a rare genius in cultivating immortals? Lin Yan. To be honest, I only learned about this from my teacher 2 months ago. How? Are you trying to say that you knew this 3 years ago? Seeing Lin Yan's face full of disbelief, Wang Xiu sighed. Brother Lin, you possess the most powerful fire attribute sacred body in the world, the Emperor Flame sacred body. This kind of physique can devour all the fires in the world and enhance cultivation, but it also carries the danger of burning oneself. Only those with a firm heart can control it. 3 years ago, you were the top prodigy of the inner sect. You were young and successful, with a beautiful woman in your arms. You were full of energy and had never experienced setbacks. How did you temper your Tao heart? A land of gentleness, a graveyard of heroes. Your Taoist partner is lazy and vain. He threw himself into my arms the first time he saw me. This kind of woman will only affect your awakening physique and the speed at which you devour flames. You can't control it. As the saying goes, when God wants to give a man a great responsibility, he must first make his heart and mind suffer, his muscles and bones work hard, his cultivation be wasted, and his girlfriend be slept with. Brother Lin, everything I do is for your own good. Looking at Wang Xiu's face full of heartbroken expression, Lin Yan was a little confused for a moment. Teacher. Lin Yan thought to himself, is what he said true or false? Dan Zan's voice rang out in his mind. As far as I know, the Emperor Flame sacred body swallowing flames is indeed quite dangerous, and it is a near-death experience. The stronger the flame, the higher the requirement for one's Tao heart. You have endured humiliation and endured disgrace for the past 3 years, which has really had a significant effect on the tempering of your Tao heart. But, in order to sharpen your Tao heart, I will destroy your cultivation and steal your Tao partner. Are all young people nowadays so good at having fun? Lin Yan's mouth twitched slightly. He looked at Wang Xiu and said, but Saint Child, have you ever thought that if possible, I would rather not awaken this so-called sacred body than lose the love of my childhood sweetheart? And, Lin Yan looked at Wang Xiu suspiciously, my sacred body was only successfully awakened a few days ago. How did you know my physique 3 years ago? This. Wang Xiu's pupils shrank slightly, and his thoughts raced through his mind. At this time, under the pressure of a powerful crisis, he felt that even Einstein could not think as quickly as he did. A long time, a light bulb suddenly lit up in Wang Xiu's mind, and everything became clear. He showed a helpless smile on his face and said, well, since it has come to this, I will no longer hide it from you. Brother Lin, you know, our world will soon face a catastrophe. Chapter 5 Supreme Grade Spirit Fire, free as you say. A catastrophe. Looking at Wang Xiu who was acting so serious, Lin Yan said suspiciously, Saint Child's words are too alarmist. Wang Xiu shook his head. I'm not exaggerating, but God gave me a warning. Brother Lin should have heard that I was born in a restricted area. As soon as I was born, I was entangled by the curse of the restricted area and could not practice. However, everyone knows that the power of this curse prevents me from practicing, but few people know that this curse also gives me a special ability to foresee the future. For the past 18 years, I often get a glimpse of the future in my dreams. I saw a devastating disaster coming. The entire Ashen Essence world fell. The aristocratic families and sacred lands that had stood for eternity were destroyed one after another. Countless strong men rushed to the battlefield, but were wiped out like ants by the enemy and turned into a bloody rain. I saw that all 5 regions were engulfed in flames of war. 9 out of 10 houses were empty, and there was widespread grief. Hundreds of millions of corpses lay on the battlefield, and the entire army was annihilated. Only a few peerless great emperors were struggling to hold on. And you, Lin Yan. He is one of them. He is the hero who will turn blood into fire, bones into firewood, and ignite the last flame of the human race with his life on the dark battlefield of the future, Emperor Yan. Lin Yan. Who? Yan Emperor. Is it fake? Wang Xiu's words contained so much explosive information that Lin Yan felt numb for a moment. Lin Yan, a disaster will happen in the future, are you sure? Nonsense. Wang Xiu rolled his eyes. The fallen genius, the boy who was poached by Supreme Bone, and Tianhuang's sacred body, so many people who fit the protagonist template appeared at the same time. If there is no crisis in the future, how can this story be written? Will the protagonists gather together to play mahjong? There must be a super powerful villain that they need to defeat together. Besides, I only said that there will be a disaster in the future, but I didn't say when it will happen. I'm going to fool this guy first. Absolutely. Wang Xiu sighed. Brother Lin, in the corner of the future that I have seen. Emperor Yan used his life to ignite the flame of the human race, dragging several powerful enemies from outside the domain to their deaths. The sky wept blood, and the world mourned together. Before death, he once lamented that if he had not indulged in the land of pleasure when he was young, wasted his precious time for growth, he would have been able to make further progress before the final battle. That way, his parents, his comrades, and his brothers wouldn't have fallen in front of him one by one. Parents, comrades, brother, Lin Yan muttered to himself, and figures appeared in his mind. If a powerful enemy really comes in the future, I will watch my parents and brothers fall in front of me and be powerless to save them. How painful it must be. It must be 100 or 1,000 times more painful than having your cultivation completely wasted or your companion taken away. So, Lin Yan looked at Wang Xiu in disbelief. You destroyed my cultivation and snatched my Taoist partner. Is this really for my own good? Wang Xiu nodded heavily. Yes. Although you were gifted 3 years ago and had reached the foundation building stage at the age of 15, your foundation was weak, your heart was shaken, and your realm was like a rootless duckweed. Your Taoist partner is even more vain and lazy. He only cares about your talent status and doesn't really love you at all. Brother Lin, you are responsible for the future of the entire Ashen Essence world and the entire human race. So, I can no longer let you indulge in the illusory glory, let alone indulge in that ridiculous so-called love. Therefore, I will be the villain, even if it means bearing the infamy, even if it means getting close to that stinky woman I hate, I will never refuse. After saying that, Wang Xiu gently wiped away the tears from the corners of his eyes, looking generous and tragic. I am carrying the future of the human race on my shoulders. Looking at Wang Xiu's determined face, Lin Yan felt numb, as if something was wrong. But, what this guy said does seem to make some sense, and the logic makes sense. The most important thing, if what he said is true, I will become a hero of the human race and an unrivaled great emperor in the future. It's exciting just thinking about it, it's so cool, isn't it? Is it possible? Lin Yan's face was full of confusion, and he couldn't help muttering in his heart, is he really doing this for my own good? Seeing that Lin Yan's attitude had softened, Wang Xiu struck while the iron was hot and spread out his palm. A treasure box made entirely of cold jade suddenly appeared. The temperature between heaven and earth dropped drastically. Even the spirit medicine was covered with a layer of frost in an instant. Inside this 1,000-year-old jade box is a gift I prepared for Brother Lin. Originally, I should have given it to you 3 years ago. Now that I'm handing it over to you, I can make up for what I owe you, Brother Lin, over the years. Hearing this, Lin Yan was completely stunned. He subconsciously stretched out his hands and took the cold jade box. Opened slowly. The next moment, a blue flame sealed by coldness appeared in Lin Yan's vision. See Spirit Flame. In Lin Yan's mind, Dan Zhan said in a lost voice, Spirit Fire ranked 36th on the Spirit Fire list, is this kid serious? Lin Yan was puzzled and muttered, Teacher, what is the Spirit Fire ranking? Dan Zhan explained, it is a list that specifically records the Spirit Fires between heaven and earth, with a total of 99 people. And above the Spirit Fire list, there is also the Immortal Fire list. Lin Yan curled his lips, isn't that second-rate stuff? It doesn't seem to be worth much. Dan Zan said, nonsense. The flames on the immortal fire list are more precious, but they are extremely rare and hard to find in the world. And there are only a few dozen in total. Even if they do appear, they are almost all born with spirit communication, can practice like monks, and are very powerful. With your current strength, even if you encounter it, you will only die, let alone refine it. On the other hand, although the spirit fire ranking is weaker than the immortal fire ranking, it is also a treasure that gathers the luck of heaven and earth, and it is very powerful. It can be of great help even to those who are strong in the nascent soul and soul formation stage. And this sea spirit flame not only ranks high on the spirit fire list, but more importantly, compared to other flames, it is docile in nature. It would be much less risky to swallow. It can be said that this is even more suitable for you to practice foundation building now than strange fire on the immortal fire list. Quote. Lin Yan's expression finally changed. Could it be? Is what Wang Xiu said true? The layout had even begun several years ago. Otherwise, how could he be so precise and take out the spirit fire that suits him just right? Wang Xiu didn't know what Lin Yan was thinking. If you knew. All I can say is, what a coincidence. Beiming's sacred land controls billions of miles of ocean. There are countless spirit veins on the seabed. Naturally, there are many rare treasures. And this is the most suitable natural environment for breeding such rare fire as sea spirit flame. Other fire. I don't like running into the sea. Thank you, Saint Child. Lin Yan accepted the cold jade box, bowed and thanked him with a complicated look. Faced with a treasure that suits him so well, he just couldn't refuse. At the same time, a voice sounded in Wang Xiu's mind. Congratulations, you have successfully invested in Lin Yanhai's spirit flame ×1, and the investment progress has reached 30%. Closing square bracket. You will receive 30% of Lin Yan's subsequent training results as a reward. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel. Chapter 6, Sun Emperor Sutra, Lin Yan escapes. He is worthy of being the child of destiny. The cost of this investment is indeed extremely high. Strange Fire, ranked 36th on the Spirit Fire list, has only managed to bring its investment progress to 30%. You have to know that even Wang Xiu doesn't have many of these treasures. Look at it this way. In order to maximize Lin Yan's investment progress, it is not an easy task even for Wang Xiu. Wang Xiu secretly let out a sigh of relief. Encourage yourself. Anyway, it's a good start. Wang Xiu waved his hand and said with a smile, Brother Lin is a child of destiny, he deserves this. After a pause, he suggested, now that Brother Lin has regained his spiritual heart, it is time for him to practice with peace of mind. He doesn't need to do the work of a herbal farmer. Why don't you follow me back to Changsheng Island, where there is abundant spirit qi and more than enough resources for Brother Lin to show his talents? Hearing this, a hint of excitement flashed across Lin Yan's eyes. But it quickly disappeared. Saint Child has treated me so well, and I am very grateful for that. But, I have been on this island for 3 years, and even if I have to leave, I should at least say hello to my friends. Why don't you go back first, Saint Child? I'll finish preparing and sorting out all the chores here, and then we can leave. Lin Yan said. Wang Xiu knew it as soon as he heard it. Lin Yan is making an excuse. Obviously, the other party didn't trust him completely so quickly. But, he did not expose it either. Since he was a good person, his character should not collapse, otherwise the investment would be wasted. That's fine. Wang Xiu nodded and said, I'll give the order. When Brother Lin is ready, someone will come to pick you up. After saying that, Wang Xiu didn't stay long. Ride the golden-winged great pung. Turned and left. Lin Yan watched the man and the eagle go away. I thought to myself, teacher, can this person be trusted? It's hard to say. This boy's behavior is weird and strange. Even I can't see through his intentions. Dan Zan shook his head. Lin Yan asked, should I accept his invitation? Dan Zan thought for a moment. As the saying goes, when something is out of the ordinary, there must be something fishy. His behavior today may seem to be kind to you, but you must be on guard against others. Now that we are on the outskirts of this sea area, if you find a chance, you can still escape. But once you reach the core area, there will be no way out and no door on Earth. In my opinion, we'd better leave Beihai as soon as possible. This is the Wang family's territory after all. If he has any evil intentions, you will be in trouble. Lin Yan nodded. That's right. The most urgent thing is to improve our cultivation first, refine the sea spirit flame, and successfully build the foundation building. Then we can leave the North Sea first. Dan Zan said, Before refining, I will check it for you first, in case that kid has done anything wrong. Lin Yan was touched and said, "Thank you, teacher." Returned to Changsheng Island in the core area. Wang Xiu was soaking in a hot spring. Enjoying the costumes of several beautiful maids around him, he closed his eyes in nurturing spirit. I felt relieved. No matter what, Lin Yan has been appeased for the time being. When I send him some rare treasures every now and then, I don't believe he won't be moved by me. Even if it's an iceberg, I have to melt it for you. Wang Xiu was determined. I bathed in the hot spring and fell asleep before I knew it. I don't know how much time has passed. A system prompt sounded beside his ear. Congratulations, you have received a reward for your cultivation achievements from Lin Yan. Obtained Sea Spirit Flame, Remnant, X1. Obtained the Sun Emperor Scripture, incomplete. Buzz. His breath surged. The water splashed high. The maids were shocked. Wang Xiu opened his eyes. I have made a breakthrough, Qi refining 8th layer. That's not all. He looked inward and saw a ball of blue flame floating quietly in his dantian. It was exactly the same as the Sea Spirit Flame that he had sent out today. But, the flame looked a lot smaller. He raised his head and looked towards the direction of Bian Island. It seems that Lin Yan has refined the Sea Spirit Flame and succeeded in foundation building. The Child of Destiny is indeed extraordinary. I got the Sea Spirit Flame in the afternoon. Not long after that, it successfully devoured and refined the foundation building. Bring feedback benefits to Wang Xiu. At the same time, an extremely exquisite and mysterious martial arts technique appeared in Wang Xiu's mind. The Sun Emperor's Scripture. This should be the skill that Dan Zhan taught to Lin Yan. It can advance and become stronger by continuously devouring powerful flames. It is an ancient supreme method that can directly reach the realm of the great emperor. The potential is immeasurable. It's a pity that it's incomplete. Wang Xiu sighed. If not, even if he didn't practice it himself, copying it and using it to invest in the rest of the prodigy would be an excellent bargaining chip. But there was no way. His investment progress in Lin Yan had only reached 30%. Therefore, whether it was the Sea Spirit Flame or the Sun Emperor Sutra, only a part of it was fed back, and there was no way to achieve synchronization with Lin Yan. But then again, this feeling of getting stronger just by lying down is so comfortable. Soaked for a while longer. Wang Xiu got up from the hot spring. After getting dressed with the help of the maid, she was about to go back to bed. Suddenly, an anxious voice came from the night. I am not doing my job well, please punish me, Saint Child. Wang Xiu frowned. Follow the sound. I found the fat manager of Bian Island kneeling there with a look of fear on his face, slapping himself repeatedly. The beating made a loud noise. His face was full of horror and fear. Wang Xiu walked over and frowned. What happened? The fat steward had a sad face and said, Saint Child. Lin Yan escaped. Quote? Wang Xiu raised his eyebrows. When did it happen? Just now. I noticed that the barrier outside Bian Island was fluctuating, so I went to check it out, but it was too late. As the fat steward spoke, he lay down again, his forehead pressed tightly against the ground, his bloated body trembling. Cold sweat kept dripping down. What kind of sin is it to fail to do a good job and let the person Saint Child wants escape? Everyone in the entire Biming sacred land knows the methods of Saint Child. He had already written a suicide note before coming. Now I just hope that Saint Child's anger doesn't involve my family. But what surprised him was, Saint Child did not fly into a rage and sentence him to death as he had imagined. Sure enough, this son of fortune is not so easy to fool. Wang Xiu sighed inwardly as he looked at the night scene in the distance. To put it bluntly, or maybe the character of the playboy in the past was too three-dimensional and attracted too much hatred. It is normal to not be trusted. Now son of fortune, who had the best hope of attracting investment, has run away. What should I do? Saint Child, I dare to ask for your help and make up for my crime. Even if I die, I will bring Lin Yan back to Saint Child. Seeing that Wang Xiu remained silent, the fat steward's eyes showed a ruthless look, and he wanted to seize the opportunity to redeem himself. Wang Xiu glanced at him and waved his hand. Forget it, since he's gone, let him go. Chase. Are you kidding? Is it so easy to hunt down and kill someone who is very lucky? I am afraid that by then not only will I be killed in return, but the other party will also turn a disaster into a blessing and get another chance. Not to mention, I have given away my Sea Spirit Flame, which has helped me gain some friendship points. If they send more people to hunt him down, Instead, the other party will become more convinced that you have ill intentions and will be more murderous again. Wouldn't that be a complete loss? Chapter 7 It's broken, the young master really understands. Therefore, we definitely cannot chase and kill him, we can only think of other ways. Wang Xiu rubbed his head. He looked down at the fat steward who was still kneeling in front of him, a little surprised. Any more bad news? No, no more. Then why are you still here? Quote. The fat steward said with a bitter face, Saint Child, you didn't let your subordinates leave. Wang Xiu thought for a moment and casually threw out a high-grade spirit stone. Okay, you've worked hard over the years, this is your hard work fee, go do whatever you need to do in the future. The fat steward nervously caught the spirit stone, his mind a little confused and he didn't react. Wang Xiu added, remember, don't bring people to hunt down Lin Yan privately. If I find out, you know the consequences. Feeling the chill in Wang Xiu's words, the fat steward tightened his hips and kowtowed repeatedly. Yes, 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 I will obey Saint Child's orders. Wang Xiu nodded with satisfaction and waved his hand, saying, go. The fat steward staggered to his feet and quickly disappeared into the night. Until leaving Changsheng Island, the fat steward glanced back, then looked at the high-grade spirit stone in his hand that was held warm from his grasp. It still feels a little unreal. Is that okay? Saint Child, you actually let me go like this. Not to mention punishment, there was not even a single scolding. And he also rewarded me with a high-grade spirit stone. Is this really the legendary, moody, ruthless, and most frivolous playboy in the Northern Territory? On the island. When Wang Xiu's personal maids saw this scene, strange expressions appeared on their pretty faces. This is not like the young master's style at all. As usual, the fat steward had to go through a lot of hardships, but he was able to survive in the end, and he had to thank the young master for not killing him. What happened today? Just as they were wondering, their young master became dazed again. Congratulations, you have successfully invested one high-grade spirit stone in Zhongwangquan, and the investment progress has reached 100%. Closing square bracket. You will receive 100% of Zhongwangquan's subsequent training effect benefits back. Opening square bracket, closing square bracket. It's just a high-grade spirit stone, and the investment progress has been maximized. Zhongwangquan, Zhongwangquan. Isn't this too cheap? Etc. Wang Xiu's eyes lit up and he suddenly thought of something. No matter who he invests in, the spiritual power returned to him by the system as a result of his cultivation had been compressed to the extreme and was purer than that of Earth Immortal. It's just a question of quantity. Then, is there a possibility that his investment in 1,000 ordinary people can be equivalent to that of one son of fortune? If 1,000 aren't enough, what about 10,000? What about 100,000? This should also be a way, right? After all, son of fortune is hard to find. But in this immortal cultivation world, there are more people with ordinary qualifications than salted fish in the sea. Wang Xiu felt that this was a path that might work. But it matters. You have to test it first. Wang Xiu took a deep breath and ordered, gather everyone on the island. A maid asked in surprise, everyone? Men too? Quote. Wang Xiu frowned and stared at the maid who was speaking. What do you think this young master wants to do? The maid lowered her head quickly, yes. A quarter of an hour later. All the monks on the island gathered in front of Wang Xiu's courtyard. These people are both men and women, some are flower arranging, some are bird raising, some are playing the piano, some are playing the flute, some are dancing. There are also many guards. The depth of cultivation varies. From chi refining to foundation building. The one with the highest cultivation level is the island's chief steward, named Zixia, who has reached the early stage of gold core. She looked to be only 18 or 19 years old, with skin as white as cream, wearing a purple dress, and her long hair fell to her waist like a waterfall, very attractive. She looks like a girl, but she has a mature temperament. He is also very capable and can handle all matters big and small on the island in an orderly manner. Name: Zixia. Race: human race. Realm: gold core early stage. Qualification: supreme grade. Features: tempered by thousands of hammers. In pain, the speed of cultivation increases. The more pain, the more pleasure. Investment evaluation: poor qualifications, not recommended to waste resources. Supreme grade qualification. This means that she has the potential to become a nascent soul venerable. In the outside world, this is enough to change the world and become a local ancestor. Even in the sacred land, it is more than enough to become an inner disciple. But the system gave such a poor evaluation. Wang Xiu indeed felt it was a bit abstract. He couldn't help but look at Zixia twice more. Just these 2 glances. This made Zixia, who had a cold expression on her face, startled. "Young master, why are you looking at me suddenly? Why is there a sense of insult and belittlement in that look? What does he want to do?" Zixia took a deep breath, bowed her head, and said, "Young master, as you ordered, I have gathered all the people on the island here. Thank you for your hard work, Zixia." Wang Xiu looked at her calmly, a pill bottle appeared in his hand, and he handed it over. "This is your reward." Zixia. Her heart rate soared at this moment. She has been on Changsheng Island for 10 years. Except for slaps and whips, she had never seen Wang Xiu give any rewards to his subordinates. If someone is too nice to you for no reason, he is either a traitor or a thief. Suddenly, Zixia remembered that some time ago, the young master had R*******da female intersect disciple. Slight change of complexion. "Young master, you have grown up." "Young master, I am not ready yet." Zixia bit her lip and said bravely. Quote? Wang Xiu was confused. "I'm rewarding you with a pill, what else do you need to prepare? Besides, why are you blushing? Just take it if I reward you," Wang Xiu said calmly. Listening to these words without any emotion, Zixia's heart skipped a beat. "Oh no, how did the young master know that I like this tune?" She knelt down, squeezed her legs together, bit her lip, took the pill, opened it, and her eyes were immediately filled with tears. Nirvana Dan. Spirit pill to improve your cultivation. It is very valuable and has better effects than ordinary spirit pills of the same level. But the side effects are also obvious. That is, during the refining process, the practitioners will feel extremely painful. It's confirmed, the young master really understands. Zixia's delicate body was trembling and her legs felt a little weak. Wang Xiu ignored Zixia's inner thoughts. "I also had someone bring in a few boxes of high-grade spirit stone. One was given to each of the other maids, servant girls, and guards present. A total of more than 500 people. As expected. The system prompt sound kept ringing in my mind. Everyone's investment progress was instantly maxed out. Immediately following, Wang Xiu then ordered everyone to sit down and practice on the spot. Everyone didn't know why, but they didn't dare to disobey his orders and did as he ordered. Congratulations, you have received a reward for your cultivation effect from Zixia. Congratulations, you have received a reward for your cultivation effect from Wang Dachui. Congratulations, you have received a reward for your cultivation effect from Chen Hu. Opening square bracket, closing square bracket. Intensive reminder sounds rang out. Wang Mu's cultivation level was also increasing bit by bit. Although it's very slow, but it is very obvious. A night passed. Wang Xiu opened his eyes again. The breath in the body has already reached the qi refining 9th layer. Chapter 8 New Investment Direction. Cast a wide net to catch fish from all over the world. The strategy of casting a wide net works. Wang Mu's eyes sparkled as he drew some conclusions. The rate of return of investing in ordinary people and investing in Son of Fortune will definitely be completely different. With the same investment cost and under ideal conditions, investing in a large number of ordinary people can indeed bring the same gains in cultivation as Son of Fortune. But you should know that investing in Son of Fortune is not just about gaining merit. Just like the fragments of the Sun Emperor scripture that Wang Xiu obtained from Lin Yan, and the other party's ability to control the sea spirit flame. These are priceless treasures, which are basically impossible to obtain from ordinary people. And how many ideal situations are there in the immortal cultivation world? Ordinary people with average qualifications have a high probability of perishing in the turbulent world of cultivation, and their investment costs are easily sunk. Unlike Son of Fortune, which can basically grow up, bring in a steady stream of income. Indeed, from a businessman's perspective, anyone with a bit of common sense would not choose the former. However, Wang Xiu is not a businessman now. He is just a man who is surrounded by enemies, with Demorix's blade hanging over his head, and he doesn't know when he will be killed by a bunch of Son of Fortune. The mediocre second generation of immortals. He does not pursue a rate of return, nor does he require any cost-effectiveness. Even as long as he can grow in a short period of time, he is willing to lose money. How can those things be as important as life? Since we have decided to cast a wide net, we must follow through to the end. It doesn't have to be just monks that can be invested in. Mortals can be killed too. As long as I invest in enough people, my growth rate may not be slower than those son of fortune. We are both cheaters, so who is afraid of who? Wang Mu's eyes were bright. He stood up, waved his hand and said, Zixia, bring more people, and follow this young master. Cracking. The golden-winged great pung eagle grew taller in the wind, its wings spread out, covering the sky and the sun, lifting Wang Mu up, and flew away from the clouds in an instant. Zixia did not dare to neglect. After sending out a jade talisman, follow closely behind. After a while, powerful auras rose from the surrounding islands and followed the direction Wang Mu left. In front of the compound, only the guards and maids who had been rewarded were left looking at each other in bewilderment. Young master, are you just leaving like this? You worked so hard all night just to reward us and watch us practice. Young master, he seems to be different from before. Tianhuang Island. One of the few large islands in the North Sea, with rich spirit qi and abundant resources. Thousands of years ago, a family of immortal cultivators named Li settled here, occupied the island and established a country called Liang, which became one of the vassal states of the Great Sha Immortal Kingdom. The island was prosperous and attracted many immortal cultivators from all over the world, as well as tens of millions of ordinary people who lived here for generations. Suddenly, a loud whistle echoed across the sea. Endless golden light emerged at the end of the sea, and an indescribable pressure filled the entire sea. Suddenly, huge waves surged. The boundless sea water was illuminated and transparent by the golden divine light. From afar, one could see a 9-headed golden lion with golden divine light all over its body, walking across the sky. Its body was blazing with light, just like the legendary beast guarding the immortal court, majestic and awe-inspiring. On the back of the golden lion, there is a huge and luxurious carriage. The canopy is tall and graceful, woven entirely with precious black jade-colored shoe brocade, and engraved with densely packed runes, making it look noble and mysterious. No matter how strong the wind and waves on the sea are, the pearl curtain will not move at all. It is clearly a priceless treasure. Vaguely. In the middle of the imperial carriage, one could see a young man sitting lazily, with sharp eyebrows and bright eyes, looking extremely noble, and a spirited golden rock perched on his shoulder. Dozens of men and women surrounded the royal carriage, all of them had a powerful aura, like stars surrounding the moon. The golden lion carriage was getting closer. The sense of oppression becomes stronger. Countless sea beasts were stunned by the terrifying pressure. When the monks and mortals on the island saw this scene, their mouths became dry, their heartbeats accelerated, and they knelt down uncontrollably, not daring to raise their heads and trembling with fear. What is that? The golden lion, a legendary ancient beast that is said to be able to swallow up an entire country in one bite. This is the young master of the Wang family's imperial carriage. I have seen it from afar once before. What? Wang, young master of the Wang family. Not good. The young master of the Wang family is coming. The young master of the Wang family is coming. Everyone, run. The island was in chaos in an instant. There was no harmony on the street. Everyone was running for their lives, packing their luggage, and then running towards the dock with terrified faces. Mom, why are we running? A little girl with pigtails who had just been pulled out of bed and was held in her mother's arms asked sleepily. The mother ran away, cursing, nonsense, the young master of the Wang family is here. He is the #1 demon in the entire northern territory, lustful and cruel. And he loves to eat disobedient little brats like you. He eats 3 of them in one meal. Don't you run and wait for death. The little girl seemed to understand, and suddenly raised her hand and pointed at the mature women who had just passed them. Then, why are these aunts running? A certain mature woman turned her head and cursed. Nonsense, the young master of the Wang family is lustful and perverted, and he likes women like us who have become his own and have given birth to children. What should I do if I don't run away? Is there any kind-hearted person who can lend me a hand? An old woman in her 60s was running with a bag on her shoulders, panting and her legs weak. Someone nearby asked in confusion, Grandma, why are you running? The old woman rolled her eyes and said, You little brat, you don't understand. Haven't you heard that the young master of the Wang family once fell in love with a female monk from Grotto Heaven who was more than 200 years older than him, but she still killed him? The young master of the Wang family is lustful and not picky about food. I am already old, if he sets his eyes on me, my dignity will be ruined. This is not a joke. Everyone, deep in Tianhuang Island, Great Liang Palace, inside the forbidden area. Boom. A large number of runes were dissolved, and restrictions were quickly broken. The heavy stone door slowly opened. A majestic aura swept out with powerful pressure. Welcome our ancestor to come out of seclusion. The contemporary King Liang prostrated himself on the ground, his attitude extremely humble, with some anxiety in his voice. At the stone gate, an old man in a gray robe with a powerful aura walked out slowly. He had a gaunt complexion, skin as smooth and rosy as a baby's, and a pair of eyes that contained a divine light that seemed to be able to see through everything. King Liang bowed and said, "Grandfather, the young master of the Wang family has suddenly arrived." The gray-robed old man Li Yuanhua waved his hand calmly. "I already know." King Liang was slightly startled, and then said, "The young master of the Wang family has always been cruel and unjust. Please tell me, ancestor, how should we deal with it?" Li Yuanhua said confidently, "I have been in seclusion for more than 300 years, comprehending the great Tao, and finally succeeded. Today, I will use the young master of the Wang family as a whetstone." Hearing this, King Liang was startled, his head buzzing. "Ancestor, that is, the Wang family. The king of King Wei." Li Yuanhua raised his lips slightly. "That's the one I want. Ordinary people are not qualified to ask me to come forward." As soon as these words came out, King Liang became excited instantly. Chapter 9 The Iron-Willed Li Yuanhua. 300 years ago. When Li Yuanhua was in seclusion, he was already a strong man in the soul formation stage, and his name was known throughout the sea. Could it be that in these 300 years, has he made another huge breakthrough and entered the realm of Earth Immortal? If that's the case, then even when facing a behemoth like the Wang family, we will still be able to have a say. King Liang was very excited and felt that his guess was extremely accurate. Li family. It's about to take off. The ancestor is so mighty. King Liang Li Chang knelt on the ground and shouted, extremely excited. Li Yuanhua waved his sleeves and said calmly, "Let's go, take all the young and beautiful women on the island and follow me to meet the young master of the Wang family." Quote. Li Chang was stunned for a moment. The young master of the Wang family was extremely lustful, and he had long ago made all the female members of his family hide in an underground formation to avoid being harmed. Why does my ancestor want me to bring someone with me? Is it because it's time to take action? Is it more powerful if someone is waving flags and cheering on the side? Li Chang pursed his lips. He was indeed the ancestor, so arrogant. Hey. Remember, let them wear the most beautiful clothes and put on the best rouge. Don't worry, ancestor, I understand, he. Quote. Take your queen and daughter with you. Li Yuanhua said again. Quote. On a wide open platform. There is a spacious white jade couch with a dragon carving on it, inlaid with 36,000 small and round Beihai long pearls, each of which is priceless and can be picked and used directly as a supreme-grade spirit stone. On top was a large autumn fragrance-colored python mattress made of supreme-grade silk. Zixia was leaning against one end of the long seat. Her long purple satin skirt reflected a smooth luster. Her waist was tied with a silver belt, which perfectly outlined the girl's exquisite and plump figure. Wang Xiu lay on Zixia's soft thighs, and the girl's faint fragrance continued to come to his nose. In front of the jade couch, there were two beautiful maids massaging his legs. After swallowing the spiritual fruit that Zixia had just fed him, he opened his mouth and spit out a fruit core. Beside the jade couch, the shrunk golden lion lay on the ground bored and dozed off. At first glance, it looks like a golden retriever puppy. As the #1 apex-level playboy in the entire Northern Territory. Plus, I offend a lot of people on a daily basis. Out and about, safety is definitely the first factor to consider. The golden-winged great pung sculpture has great potential. But after all, it is still young and can only be a pet. So, not only did his family arrange many powerful people to protect Wang Xiu. This golden lion is also a safety measure. 2 years ago, Wang Xiu was 18 years old. His father, Wang Tianba, was a butcher, and happened to destroy a soul formation sect that had been passed down for 10,000 years. He suppressed the sect's guardian beast and brought it back as a gift for Wang Emu's coming of age. Are all the people left behind? There was a hint of helplessness in Wang Emu's lazy voice. Yes. Zixia gently pressed Wang Emu's temple and spoke softly, her breath as sweet as orchid. Those mortals were afraid of the young master's majesty, so they all ran to the dock and wanted to leave by boat, but were stopped by someone sent by this servant. Well, Wang Xiu sighed silently, his previous life's reputation was indeed rather bad. Even those mortals who have never practiced cultivation have heard of his bad reputation and try to avoid him. The road to whitewashing is long and arduous. Wang Xiu held his face with one hand, propped himself up, leaned on Xixia's full chest, raised his eyebrows and asked, "Where are the people from the Li family?" Xixia said, "They should be on their way to meet us." After a pause, she continued, "Young master, the Li Liang royal family has been passed down for 1,000 years, especially the ancestor of the Li family, Li Yuanhua, who has a very strong character. If you want him to obey you, you may need some tricks." Oh, there was some curiosity in Wang Emu's eyes, but more of it was indifference. What he is going to do this time will be most efficient with the cooperation of local bosses. But if the local boss is unwilling to cooperate, then just change the local boss. Easy thing to do. Suddenly, it became quiet all around. In the distance, at the end of the stairs, hundreds of beautiful women appeared together. There are differences in fatness and thinness. She was wearing gorgeous clothes, quite boldly, with large areas of skin exposed, and she was walking towards here with her chest puffed out and her head held high. Leading the group were two men. One was wearing a dragon robe. A man in a gray robe and with a white beard. Both of them held their heads high and looked high-spirited, as if they were leading an army. Especially the old man, with his back straight and eyes as sharp as torches, like a sword that can see through all the haze in the world, sharp and fearless. Wang Xiu pursed his lips. What kind of lineup is this? Just in a daze, a group of people have arrived at the venue. Li Yuanhua straightened his chest and raised his head, looking directly at Wang Xiu, and said loudly, "Young Master Wang, this Tianhuang island is not a place for you to come." Hearing this, there was dead silence. Xixia's beautiful face showed a trace of surprise, and then the corners of her mouth curled up slightly, as if she heard something very interesting. King Liang Li Cheng looked at his ancestor with eyes full of reverence and was extremely excited. "Of course, ancestor. Just go for it." However, the next moment, what Li Yuanhua said almost broke his waist. Li Yuanhua suddenly took a step forward, knelt on one knee, and his face was full of compassion. "You should know that my Tianhuang island is not comparable to the 36 great immortal islands. Spirit chi is thin, resources are scarce, and the population is dense. The young Master Wang Golden Immortal has become accustomed to the spiritual energy on the fairy island. How can you endure coming to this filthy place?" I was surprised and delighted to hear that the young master had come. Although I feel extremely honored to see the young master, I was surprised to think that the young master was in such a filthy place. I couldn't help but feel heartbroken and burst into tears. As he spoke, Li Yuanhua burst into tears and his words were so sincere and heartfelt that those who heard them were sad and cried. And next to it, Li Chenghei's eyes were completely dull. He stared at Li Yuanhua blankly. "No, old ancestor, what are you talking about?" Bang! A slap landed hard on Li Chenghei's face, causing him to spin 3 times. He sat on the ground in a daze, completely stunned. "You evil beast, how can you have the right to interrupt me when I'm giving advice to the young master?" Li Yuanhua's face was full of anger. In fact, he secretly said, "Shut up and watch me perform." Li Cheng covered his face, puzzled. Develop what?" Li Yuanhua, "Of course it is the great Tao that I have comprehended after hundreds of years of seclusion." Li Cheng was even more puzzled. "What kind of great Tao is this? Isn't this just flattery?" Li Yuanhua scolded fiercely. "Nonsense, the young master is the son of Earth Immortal, the most beloved of all the immortals. Can this be called flattery? This is flattering the immortals. I started from scratch and was alone and helpless before I built this business. It was a very bumpy road. Finally I realized a truth deeply. If you want to make it in the world, you can't just rely on fighting skills, you need power and background. Just wait and see. Today, I will definitely take control of the young master of the Wang family. If he can show even a little bit of anger, I, Li Yuanhua, will be incompetent. From today on, my Li family will be able to rely on the Wang family as a strong supporter. It will be easy for us to dominate the northern territory in no time." The communication of divine thoughts only takes a moment. Li Yuanhua wiped his tears hurriedly, then hurriedly took out something from the storage bag and opened it in front of everyone. In this box, there is a law treasure, called the 100 Flowers Gathering Immortal Pearl. It can store the spirit chi of heaven and earth on weekdays, and can be released at critical moments to improve the surrounding heaven and earth environment, accompanied by the fragrance of hundreds of flowers. Once I can perform this, it should be able to increase the spirit chi around me by more than 100 times. Although it's still not as good as what happened on the young master's fairy island, it can at least make this old servant feel better. Young master, please wait a moment. It will be ready soon, it will be ready soon. After saying that, Li Yuanhua raised his hand and cast a spell, and several runes sank into the spirit bead. In an instant, the spirit pearl flew over the location where Wang Xiu and others were. A burst of rich spirit qi, accompanied by a light and charming fragrance, instantly spread out with Wang Xiu as the center. Chapter 10, Immortal Cultivation Conference. National Immortal Cultivation Qualification Test. The platform was soon filled with fragrance. There was silence all around. Whether it was the hundreds of gorgeous women brought by Li Chang. He is also a powerful cultivator under Wang Emu's command. At this moment, they all opened their mouths slightly, staring at Li Yuanhua with some surprise, as if their worldview had been severely impacted. I thought to myself, this Li family ancestor who has already entered the soul formation Taoist realm, is so smooth when doing things. Is this what you mean by the most upright? Wang Xiu was still lying on Zixia's legs at this time. He couldn't help but turn his head to look at Zixia's face, but his view was blocked by a plump mountain range. Zixia opened her mouth but couldn't utter a word for a long time. Li Chang lowered his head tightly. Although no one was looking at him, he still felt that his face was terribly hot. The Li Liang royal family has dominated the wind and rain on this island for 1,000 years. They are also ascetics themselves. It is not unacceptable for them to bow to powerful forces and big figures. No matter what, the ancestor is still a strong man in the soul formation stage. No matter how noble the young master of the Wang family is, he is still just a junior. Why so flattering, so lacking in integrity? If this gets out, what will happen to the reputation of the Li family? After the initial surprise, Wang Xiu looked at Li Yuanhua with more interest and appreciation. No matter in which world, shameless people always have a better life. Those who are capable and shameless can live better than most people. This ancestor of the Li family has a future. The Li family respectfully welcomed Wang Xiu and his party into the palace. Wang Xiu leaned against the large dragon throne. State the purpose of this trip. I will hold an ascension conference on your Tianhuang island to test the qualifications of all mortals for free. I will pay for all the expenses. Understood. Understood. This old servant will make all the arrangements and find a few beautiful mortals for you, young master, to test thoroughly. Li Yuanhua had a flattering look on his face. Halfway through his words, he suddenly realized something was wrong. Inspection qualifications. Any questions? Li Yuanhua was confused for a moment, but then he quickly reacted, no, of course not. Please forgive me for asking, do you have any special requests, young master? Wang Xiu frowned slightly, thought for a moment, shook his head and said, as long as they are of age and have not yet been tested for aptitude, they can all be mortals. Li Yuanhua was listening and was stunned. That's it. No more. That's all. No gender restrictions. Wang Xiu squinted at him and said, I think I've made it clear enough. Li Yuanhua lowered his head quickly. Yes, I will arrange it right away. After saying, he bowed respectfully again, turned around and left the palace. Outside the main hall, Li Chang and others were waiting anxiously. When they saw Li Yuanhua coming out, they quickly surrounded him. Grand Master, how is it? What does the young master want? Li Yuanhua rolled his eyes at Li Chang and said, give orders to hold an Immortal Ascension Conference across the island. All mortals of the appropriate age who have not been tested for qualifications can participate. All expenses will be borne by the young master. Speaking of the words, young master of the Wang family, Li Yuan bowed in the direction of the main hall with reverence. Free. Testing qualifications. For all mortals. Li Changhei's head buzzed instantly. Tianhuang Island covers an extremely vast area. In addition to Li Liangwang City, there are dozens of cities and tens of millions of mortals. Those who are suitable for testing qualifications, at least there are millions. This is not a small number. What's going on, young master? Li Chang asked in a puzzled voice. Upon hearing this, Li Yuanhua looked at him with disdain. We just follow the young master's orders, why ask more questions? You have been in the palace for many years, do you still need me to teach you this principle? Yes, Li Chang responded on the surface, but he was worried in his heart. The Li family is the royal family of Liang State. Normally, all officials are respectful to them. How could they understand the ways of people of lower status? Suddenly, his eyes lit up and a clever idea came to his mind. "Old ancestor, since we want to please the young master, should we pay for those mortals to test their qualifications?" Hearing this, Li Yuan was slapped the other person on the forehead. "Rotten wood. Rotten wood. What is the identity of the young master? Let's not talk about anything else, just the Langya Chamber of Commerce alone is rich. Are you short of this little money? The young master's coming to our place to scatter money this time is probably a bad thing. No, I'm tired of doing whatever I want, so I want to change the way I play and just scatter money for fun. You, on the other hand, want to spend the money on behalf of the young master. This is equivalent to giving up your seat to someone else on the wedding night. Would you be happy if it were you? I teach you because you are my descendant. The first and most important thing to do when flattering an immortal is to give him what he likes." Quote. As soon as these words were spoken, Li Chang had a look of enlightenment in his eyes, as if he had divine insight. "So that's how it is. Thank you for your guidance, thank you for your guidance." He bowed repeatedly, expressing his gratitude and feeling like he had learned something. Li Yuanhua waved his hand, signaling Li Chang to get out quickly. Then, he looked back in the direction of the imperial palace, as if thinking about something. "Start thinking. How can we make this Ascension conference beautiful and satisfy the young master?" The news was quickly released. With Great Liang Royal City as the center, the news continued to spread to the surrounding cities, causing quite a stir. A pub. It was dinner time and business was booming with customers coming in an endless stream from all over the country. "Have you heard that the young master of the Wang family is holding an Ascension meeting in Great Liang Wangcheng? Anyone who has reached the age and has not been tested for qualifications can go, for free. Is there such a good thing? Young Master Wang, I heard from my grandmother that he is a villain that only appears once every 500 years. He definitely has bad intentions. But, what if we find out that there is a spirit root, maybe we can practice it. Do you think it's more likely that you can practice, or that the young master of the Wang family will do something bad?" Quote. There was a lot of discussion in the room, and no one was optimistic about this matter. The other side. Between large tracts of farmland. The farmers had a moment's leisure and sat under the trees to chat. "He is the most arrogant and frivolous person in the Northern Territory. How can he be so kind as to do good deeds? In my opinion, the testing qualification is fake, and the purpose is to find women. Hiss, I heard that the young master of the Wang family is extremely wealthy, rich enough to rival a country. The bowls he uses for eating are all gold, and he has even slept with fairies. How could he be interested in mortals? So what? Haven't you seen those young masters in the royal city who are used to eating delicious food? They always like to come to our fields to experience life. That's what they call it. Rich people are like that. I'm tired of the good stuff, so I want to try something rough. My grandfather met a few immortal masters when he was young. He heard them talking about how women who had practiced could be made into incense burners, which were very tonic." "Incense burner? You mean the furnace tripod?" Yes, it's the furnace. I think that's possible. He just wants to get some girls who can practice cultivation to be used as furnaces. What a wicked playboy." Quote. As everyone talked, they all gnashed their teeth at the young master of the Wang family, but there was no hatred in their eyes. Instead, they were filled with deep envy and jealousy. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel. Chapter 11. Can the young master of the Wang family do good things? Even pigs can climb trees. Not far away, a dark-skinned young man listened to their discussion in silence, his eyes conflicted. They are all right. The free testing qualification is really tempting. No one doesn't want to cultivate immortality. However, the testing qualification requires a low-grade spirit stone, which, converted into silver, would cost at least 100 taels of silver. This is an astronomical figure for ordinary people from poor families. It would take several generations to save up this amount. As long as the qualifications can be detected, even the worst low-grade spirit root can change the fate of their family. No need to make a living on this yellow land anymore. Titan, go back quickly, your grandma fell down. The young man was daydreaming when a voice suddenly brought him back to reality. His face changed drastically, he patted his butt, stood up, and ran towards a dilapidated wooden house. Fortunately, his grandmother only suffered some minor injuries and will be fine after resting for a while. When it was completely dark, the young man stopped what he was doing and drank a large bowl of cold water. Things like testing qualifications and cultivating immortals came to his mind again. But after taking one look at his grandmother lying on the bed, he shook his head again. Grandma is old. What if the young master of the Wang family really has bad intentions and never comes back? What will grandma do? This possibility is too great. Forget it, I don't want to think about it anymore. A certain room. A father and daughter are arguing. The girl was about 15 or 16 years old, slim and graceful, and dressed in simple clothes. His father was lying on the couch, looking pale, obviously seriously ill. Dad, please let me go. Why are you going? Stay here quietly. If I can detect the spirit root and become an immortal master, maybe I can find a way to cure you. Ahem, do you think that young Master Wang is a good person? He is a tiger that eats people without leaving any bones. If you go there, will you be able to come back alive? That's better than watching you get sick and die. If you dare to take a step out of the door today, I will die in the house. Quote. Similar scenes were constantly played out in various places on Tianhuang Island. At the same time, the news spread quickly and reached other islands in the sea. Wanchong Island. It is also a huge island, only slightly smaller than Tianhuang Island. As they own such a huge sacred island in the inner area of the North Sea, the Huang family, the owners of the island, should not be underestimated. The same old ancestor of the soul formation stage is in charge. After hearing the news from Tianhuang Island, the Huang family was shocked. Ancestor Wang Xiu came out of seclusion directly. What? You said that old man from the Li family knelt down? Yes. Many people were watching at that time. Huang Yin, the current patriarch of the Huang family, vowed. Not only did he kneel down, he also cried as if his own father had died. He insisted on opening the 100 Flowers spirit gathering pearl for the young master of the Wang family. You old man, you've lived for so many years in vain, and you don't even care about your dignity anymore. Huang Xiu was extremely indignant, his words were full of sarcasm. A Taoist master who has practiced for thousands of years and is at the soul formation stage is so fawning to a young man from the Wang family. How can you be so dignified? It's a pity that I have regarded him as my rival all these years. Quote. Huang Yin coughed twice and changed the subject. Ancestor, what do you think of the Immortal Ascension Conference that the young master of the Wang family wants to host? Huang Xiu waved his sleeves and sneered. It's just an ignorant act of a child who wants to squander his family's wealth. With such a dandy young master, it's hard for the Wang family to avoid decline. Huang Yin was a little nervous and looked around. Grandfather, please keep your voice down, be careful of what you say. Huang Xiu said calmly. Why are you panicking? I have already activated the soundproof barrier. Quote. Some of my old friends have passed on a lot of news to me recently. Huang Xiu looked towards the direction of the sacred land in the North Sea with a dim gaze. The Wang family, this behemoth, may have reached the end of its luck. Quote. A similar conversation was taking place on another island. Give all mortals free testing qualifications. You have money to burn, right? What does the young master of the Wang family want to do? Does he think his reputation is too bad and wants to make up for it? It's so funny. As expected, he is the most extravagant person in the Northern Territory. If we only talk about his ability to spend money, no one in the world can match him. Quote. Let me explain this on two sides. Yunlai Chamber of Commerce. The door to a secret room slowly opened. A young man in a brocade robe and with a cold expression walked out slowly, and the fluctuations of spiritual energy in his body slowly calmed down. Congratulations, uncle. You have successfully broken through the gold core. At the side, the old servant who had been waiting there greeted him respectfully. Tang Qian straightened his sleeves expressionlessly. With my accumulation, a breakthrough is just a matter of course. There is no possibility of failure. Why should I congratulate you? How's it going with what you did? The old servant said respectfully. According to your instructions, we have united with some small and medium-sized chambers of commerce to jointly suppress the Langya Chamber of Commerce. Now, we have snatched hundreds of deals from the Langya Chamber of Commerce. Well done. A hint of satisfaction appeared in Tang Qian's cold eyes. He knew that what the old servant could report to him must not be some small business. But it is a business that is painful enough for the Langya Chamber of Commerce. How is that useless young master of the Wang family doing lately? The old servant hesitated for a moment and said, originally it was nothing, but these 2 days, he suddenly ran to Tianhuang Island and wanted to hold some kind of ascension conference. They said they would provide free testing for all mortals who cannot afford the test. Tang Qian raised his eyebrows. Giving people free testing qualifications. What a joke. Who doesn't know that the young master of the Wang family is the most dissolute playboy in the Northern Territory, who has done all kinds of bad things, which is intolerable to heaven? The old servant shook his head. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's just a joke and it will be over in 2 days. Tang Qian sneered. He is indeed a clown. With such a young master, there is no need to worry about the Wang family's demise. Just wait. One day, I will make the entire Wang family kneel at my feet. Sacred land of Baiming, Guishu Palace. The Holy Lord Luo Xuanxuang was wearing a silver cloak, sitting in the first seat, holding a jade slip, with a frown on his face. Holy Lord, in my opinion, the request of the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning is not excessive. In the main hall, an old man in a black robe, with a gleam in his eyes, cupped his hands and said, since this matter was caused by Saint Child, it is reasonable for Saint Child to come forward and apologize to him. Luo Xuanxuang's eyes were like swords, and her voice was cold. The great elder is willing to kneel down 3 times and kowtow 9 times, and climb up Yunmeng mountain step by step, and ask you to apologize. The great elder of Beiming's sacred land bowed his head and said, to apologize, of course you have to have an attitude of apologizing. Luo Xuanxuang said, you should know that more is just a mortal. The elder said in a deep voice, if you do something wrong, you will have to pay the price. Unless the Holy Lord wants to go to war with the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning. Luo Xuanxuang's eyes flashed with sarcasm. What a price to pay for doing something wrong. In the past, the second son of the great elder stole the heart-protecting scales of the mermaid princess, causing the mermaids to be furious. It was sacred land that stepped in and settled the matter. I wonder what price the great elder's second son paid for this matter. The great elder's expression changed slightly and he was speechless. Swish. Luo Xuanxuang threw the jade talisman at the elder and said coldly, right back. If they want to apologize, I can come to their house in person. But if they want to attack my son, then let's just go to war. Hearing this, the elder's pupils shrank, and he was incredulous. Holy Lord, are you really going to do this for a? The word, waste, was never uttered. A terrifying sword intent that seemed to be able to tear the sky of the 9th layer apart landed directly on the head of the great elder. Luo Xuanxuang's eyes were sharper than a sword, not convinced. Take my seat first. The great elder's face was as pale as paper and he said nothing. He turned and left the hall. Just as he was leaving the hall, the great elder's figure swayed and a mouthful of blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. He never looked back, and the resentment in his eyes was well hidden. In the main hall, it's so quiet. Luo Xuanxuang sat back in his seat, rubbed his head, his eyes full of fatigue. A figure appeared silently behind him. Your Majesty. Saint Child went to Tianhuang Island and said he would pay for free qualification testing for all the mortals on the island. Luo Xuanxuang was slightly startled, sighed silently, and waved his hand, saying, as long as he is happy, let him do whatever he wants. In a blink of an eye. Several days passed. There are only 2 days left until the agreed date for testing qualifications. How is it? How many people have signed up? Li Yuanhua asked. Li Changhai's face looked a little bitter. A light flashed in his hand, and a piece of paper appeared with only a dozen names written on it. Just these few. Li Yuanhua's eyes widened instantly. Li Chang said, Ancestor, there is really no one here. When everyone heard that it was the ascension ceremony held by the young master, they were scared away. Li Yuanhua slapped the other person on the forehead. Are you a pig? No one signed up, will you catch them? Go door to door, and bring in anyone who is old enough but doesn't have the qualifications to be tested. Young master has promised to face all the mortals on the island, and you want me to report with just these few names. Do you want to kill me? Li Yuanhua was furious and wanted to kick Li Chang away. Li Chang was awakened by the beating and nodded repeatedly, I understand. I'll go right away. Chapter 12. Test Spirit Root and Get Spirit Stone. Is the young master of the Wang family crazy? 2 days later. The Ascension Conference officially begins. Wang Xiu stood on the highest steps of the Great Liang Palace, overlooking the area below. In the huge white marble square, thousands of figures were standing there, all with their heads down and their bodies trembling, as if they were prisoners about to face the death penalty. Some timid boys and girls even cried quietly. Dad, Mom, I don't want to die. Far away, outside the palace gate, there was a huge crowd of onlookers, many of whom were crying and shouting. My poor daughter. My son, this damned young master of the Wang family is a beast. Wang Xiu. His face twitched slightly, and he looked at Li Yuanhua. What's going on? Forehead. Li Yuanhua's eyes rolled around, and he said, these mortals are blind and do not know the kindness of the young master. I couldn't stand it, so I used a little trick. Wang Xiu. Good job. I wonder why these people look like they want to eat me alive. It turns out that these boys and girls were captured. His image in the eyes of the people was already bad, and now this has happened. Doesn't it just confirm people's speculation? However, Wang Xiu also knew that this could not be blamed on Li Yuanhua. The fame of its predecessor. If we don't use this method, I'm afraid we won't be able to get so many people together. Well, that's all. Eat your meal one bite at a time. Let's get started. Wang Xiu waved his hand and sat down on the dragon chariot. Li Yuanhua stood up in response, and a golden scroll appeared in his hand, which he slowly unfolded. The yellow heaven is above, the thick earth is below. Because of the chaos caused by demons in this world, disasters are everywhere, the people are suffering, and the human race is worrying. Fortunately, I am the young master of the Wang family. I am grateful to God for his kindness. I deeply feel the suffering of the people. Today, I will bless the world. All of us in the human race can test our qualifications for free, so that we can achieve immortality together with Immortal Tao and protect the human race. Quote. Listening to Li Yuanhua's voice, Wang Xiu narrowed his eyes slightly and suddenly felt a little dizzy. Those words, the main meaning, were indeed what he said. For example, there will be a great disaster in the human race, or demons will cause chaos in the world. But when Li Yuanhua wrote these things down as an edict, it suddenly felt different. The Immortal Ascension Conference officially begins. Following Li Yuanhua's order, the team below began to flow. The boys and girls walked forward one by one, tightly grasping the low-grade spirit stones that they had received in advance, and walked into the formation in the middle of the square. This is a spirit testing array. As long as the spirit root is sensed, it will glow, but the prerequisite is that the spirit stone must be consumed. On the contrary, it is bleak. The first young man walked into the formation. The spirit detecting array showed no reaction. The second girl walked in and did the same thing. Then comes the third one. The fourth one. 9 times in a row, the spirit testing formation didn't react at all. This is a very normal thing. After all, if spirit root was so common, it wouldn't be Wang Emu's turn to do this kind of thing. Finally, a young man with a simple and honest look walked into the formation. Buzz. As the spiritual power of the spirit stone in his hand was rapidly devoured, it turned into powder. The formation pattern under his feet was instantly lit up. Several white lights rose from the edge of the formation. There was an uproar in the venue. There were whispers among the crowd. The Li family cultivator who was in charge of presiding over the Ascension Conference shouted, Lu Chong, low-grade gold spirit root. Finally someone has a spirit root. Lu Chong, is my son, is my son. Ha 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 ha, my Lu family has produced an immortal master. An immortal master has appeared. Outside, among the crowd, Lu Chang's parents hugged each other excitedly and shouted and jumped. The people around couldn't help but look at them with envy. This family must have accumulated virtue for several lifetimes to give birth to an immortal master, right? Unlike that brat in my own family. There was no reaction at all when I went in. Comparing yourself to others is really frustrating. Someone said sourly, having a spirit root may not be a good thing. Don't forget that the person sitting on it is the young master of the Wang family. As soon as these words came out, Lu Chang's parents felt like they were poured with a bucket of cold water. Yes, they almost forgot that this Ascension Conference was hosted by the young master of the Wang family. What his purpose is still unknown. Perhaps, my son having spirit root is not only not a good thing, but may also bring fatal disaster. But at this moment, however, the monk who presided over the Ascension Conference continued to speak. By order of the young master, anyone who detects a low-grade spirit root will be rewarded with 10 low-grade spirit stones. The words fell. The crowd was silent. Everyone's eyes widened, some couldn't believe their ears. What? They detected the spirit root, but they gave it back the spirit stone. Oh my God, is this true? Wow, as expected of the Wang family, they are really generous. In the crowd, a man with a distinguished aura stroked his chin and sighed. He was not an ordinary person, nor was he the elder of any of the thousands of boys and girls. Instead, it came from an immortal cultivation sect on Tianhuang Island, the Chungyan sect. I heard what happened here. Sent here to watch the fun, well, to be more precise, to find out what's going on. Someone with a background like him. There are quite a few in the crowd. They all come from various sects, big and small. It seems that the Wang family is serious about this. Testing spirit root, is it to recruit new people? How strange. A female cultivator wondered, there are so many masters in the Wei Palace, even the guest officials must be at least at the nascent soul level. Not to mention the sacred land of Beiming, how many chosen ones have lined up but still can't get in. The young master of the Wang family is recruiting people, could it be for the Langya Chamber of Commerce? The other person frowned and shook his head, it's unlikely. When has the Langya Chamber of Commerce ever been short of people? Even if it was short of people, why would they go to the trouble of testing the spirit root in person? Just post a notice and monks from all over the world will naturally rush to get it. Then what are they doing? It's impossible that they are specifically trying to snatch people from small sects like us, right? They speculated. I can't understand why Wang Xiu goes to such great lengths. Free spirit root test. Also gifted with spirit stone. There must be a purpose behind that. However, how could the Wang family possibly look down upon these low-grade spirit roots? The ordinary people around don't have so many thoughts. When they saw that Lu Chong really received 10 shiny low-grade spirit stones. My eyes are shining. Those are 10 low-grade spirit stones, equivalent to 10,000 taels of silver. What kind of wealth? If I could really fall into their hands, I would be willing to die immediately. At least, the living can enjoy themselves. Those who had just been sour and said that detecting spirit root might not be a good thing, were suddenly speechless and filled with indescribable envy. Give 10 spirit stones. How many lives can that buy? Why is that brat of mine so disappointing? Waste. It's just trash. Emotions are contagious. For a moment, the crowd was enthusiastic. Everyone began to look forward to the sequel. I want to see if my daughter has the potential to become an immortal master. Chapter 13. 8 Extremes Collapsing Heaven Fist. Test Spirit Root and get a free technique. Zhou Yun, low-grade Earth Spirit Root, rewarded with 10 low-grade Spirit Stones. Quote. Luo Xiaoyu, low-grade Wood Spirit Root, rewarded with 10 low-grade Spirit Stones. Quote. As the team moves quickly. The number of young people with spirit root qualifications is gradually increasing. Almost every 20 or so. Only then will a boy or girl with spirit root appear. But so far, all are low-grade spirit roots. A higher one also failed to appear. Although Wang Xiu had known that this would be the case, the actual ratio still surprised him. Judging from the memory of the previous life, from childhood to adulthood, there have been almost no people below the middle-grade spirit root around him. Even the maids and servants were no exception. I didn't expect that in the outside world, middle-grade spirit root is so rare. At the same time, in Wang Emu's mind, system information was also jumping rapidly. Congratulations, your investment in Lu Chong has reached 100%. Closing square bracket. You will receive 100% of Lu Chang's subsequent training effect benefits back. Congratulations, your investment progress has reached 100%. Closing square bracket. You will receive 100% of Zhou Yun's subsequent training effect benefits back. Congratulations, your investment in Luo Xiaoyu has reached 100%. Closing square bracket. You will receive 100% of Luo Xiaoyu's subsequent training effect benefits back. Opening square bracket, closing square bracket. Ding. Lin Yan, whom you invested in, has learned the 8 Extremes Collapsing Heaven Fist, and his strength has greatly increased. Congratulations on receiving the return of your cultivation effect from Lin Yan. Suddenly, a crisp sound was heard. Wang Xiu felt hot all over. In mind, a secret boxing manual appeared. 8 Extremes Collapsing Heaven Fist. It is extremely powerful. When cultivated to the peak, it is enough to split mountains, crack the earth, and collapse the sky. Although it's just a fragment. But Wang Xiu tried to circulate his spiritual power and gather it at the tip of his fist. He felt an explosive force like a condensed flame that could erupt at any time and destroy everything in front of him. What a powerful secret technique. Did Dan Zhan teach him this? Wang Xiu pursed his lips. Instead of feeling excited about obtaining some powerful secret techniques, he felt more worried and felt a sense of urgency. You know, what he knows is only 30% of Lin Yan's. If Lin Yan uses this secret technique, How powerful will it be? How long has it been since Lin Yan escaped from Bian Island? So quickly, he learned a powerful secret skill and his strength increased greatly. With Lin Yan's talent and this boxing technique, fighting across levels would be as easy as eating and drinking. Lin Yan is like this. What about the other Destiny children? Could it be that much different? Wang Xiu glanced at the ongoing Ascension conference with a complicated expression. There are only more than 3,000 people participating today. It is estimated that by the end, at most more than 100 people with spirit root will be detected. This efficiency is too slow. The benefits that these 100 or so people gain from practicing for a day are almost negligible. It's hard to even increase my mana by a tiny bit. There was a gleam of brilliance in Wang Emu's eyes. This can't go on. Got to speed up. Let more people actively accept their investment. His brain was working rapidly, and suddenly he thought of something and waved towards Li Yuanhua. The latter immediately trotted over, knelt on one knee in front of Wang Xiu, lowered his head and approached. Young master, what do you want? Wang Xiu, %. @ Li Yuanhua. I don't know what Wang Xiu said. Li Yuanhua was startled for a moment, then quickly tore through the void and disappeared on the spot. Chu Qing, middle grade spirit root. 10 middle grade spirit stones as a reward. In the square, the voice of the monk who presided over the Ascension conference suddenly became louder. There was a slight silence in the field. Then there was a thunderous cheer. Middle grade spirit root. Middle grade spirit root appears. What the hell? Is this true? This was the last boy waiting for the test. Unexpectedly, he possessed middle grade spirit root, which really surprised everyone present. Not only is it a middle grade spirit root, but it's also a relatively rare wind spirit root. It's considered genius. If such a disciple were in our Chungyan sect, he could directly enter the inner sect and be accepted as a disciple by the elders. They actually gave me a middle grade spirit stone as a direct reward. They are really rich. In the crowd, practitioners from various sects were also very envious. But they all know, this person cannot possibly have a share for them. After all, the young master of the Wang family spent so much money and finally found such a talented person, so how could he give him away for free? I can only envy her. In the middle of the formation, the young man named Chu Qing was also very surprised by the result. He was so happy that he almost fainted. He cried and waved to his parents in the crowd. The other boys and girls who were found to be qualified looked at them with envy. Spirit root, 1 level short, it's a huge difference. This is a lifetime difference. Just when everyone thought that today's Ascension conference was about to end. High place. The void is twisted. Li Yuanhua walked out slowly and said in a loud voice, by order of the young master, all those who have detected the spirit root will be rewarded with a basic skill of the corresponding attribute. For those who have not awakened their spirit root, each will be rewarded with a copy of the martial Dao technique in the primordial origin stance. As soon as the words fell, he waved his sleeves lightly. One after another, the secret manuals turned into spiritual light and flew out, hovering accurately in front of every boy and girl who participated in the test. Basic gold attribute skills, Jin Yuan Ju. Basic wood attribute skills, Wood Yuan Ju. Basic fire attribute skills, Fire element technique. Basic wind attribute skills, Fuyao Ju. Young Master Wang, what a big deal. Although these skills are not top-notch, they are much stronger than the basic 5-element breathing techniques on the market. Oh my god, I'm a little jealous. What's going on? I remember that when I first started practicing, I practiced with a broken breathing technique for more than 10 years. I almost went astray and barely entered the Qi refining first layer. If I had a copy of Mu Yuan Ju back then, I would definitely be at a higher level than I am now. As the saying goes, the layman watches the excitement, while the expert watches the details. Ordinary people only feel that. The young master of the Wang family is so generous, giving away gifts again. Only those practitioners of Taoism knew how precious the skills Wang Xiu gave them were. You know, the most common people in this world are independent cultivators. As for independent cultivators, except for a few talented and powerful people who do not like to be bound by constraints, the vast majority of them are lacking in talent, have average strength, and no force is willing to accept them. If these people hadn't had any adventure. In fact, throughout one's life, one is just wandering before the Qi refining third layer. Among low-grade spirit roots, only 1 in 10 can successfully build a foundation building. The most important reason, apart from talent, is that they lack the method. The 5 elements breathing technique can be found everywhere on the market. It can only meet the most basic spirit chi breathing needs. The efficiency is extremely poor. According to that practice, it would be difficult to even draw chi into the body without 3 to 5 years. However, the skills Wang Xiu gave were different. Chapter 14. The young master of the Wang family is a good man. A very good man. The skills given by Wang Xiu have long been famous among the basic skills. It can allow practitioners to successfully embark on the path of practice in the most stable state, and the probability of foundation building is also greatly improved. Safe, easy to use and efficient. Although it is not as good as those of Sacred Land and Great Immortal Gate. However, it is already the best technique that low-level cultivators can pursue. It's no exaggeration to say, if you get this kind of skills, you will be 20 years ahead of other independent cultivators. For a while, many of the monks and independent cultivators who were watching began to feel jealous. If I had these at the beginning, how could my realm not have climbed a step or two higher? What surprised everyone even more was, Wang Xiu not only prepared exercises for those who were found to have qualifications. Even ordinary people who do not have spirit root. He also sent it. The primordial origin pile is very famous in the mortal world. It was once improved by a predecessor from a mortal cultivation world. It can be called a magical power in the world. By entering the Tao in this way, as long as one studies hard and practices diligently, and reaches the pinnacle, one will be comparable to the cultivators of the Qi refining 9th layer. It also has the effect of prolonging life. If you encounter some higher level adventures, it may be possible to improve your aptitude and enter the Tao through martial arts. So, don't underestimate this as just a body refining exercise. The value is also great. What on earth does this young master of the Wang family want to do? Quote. Many people raised similar questions and began to feel confused. It was also at this time. Wang Xiu slowly stood up from the dragon chariot and walked into everyone's sight. Li Yuanwu reacted quickly, cupped his hands and bowed, "Young master." Seeing this, the rest of the people below followed suit and saluted respectfully. At the same time, he secretly looked at Wang Xiu with a look of curiosity and fear. Wang Xiu smiled and waved his hand gently, indicating that there was no need to be polite. Then he looked at the boys and girls who had just been tested for their qualifications and said with a smile, "I am very pleased to see so many rising stars of our human race at today's Ascension Conference. Talents, don't be arrogant, because there are always people stronger than you in this world. Talented weaklings, don't feel inferior, because you are already luckier than most people in this world." His voice was gentle, like the warm breeze at the seaside, reaching the ears of every boy and girl. It seemed to have some magic power that made them unable to help but listen attentively. For those who have not been able to determine their spirit root, don't be discouraged. Life is long, and no one can predict your future. Wang Xiu smiled, cupped his hands, and bowed. In short, the immortal road is a long journey, and the road ahead is long. I am here to see you off on your first journey. May your immortal journey be a success. Long live Long. As soon as he finished speaking, the crowd quieted down for a moment, and then there was a deafening round of applause. There were more than 3,000 young boys and girls present. They all bowed and "Thank you, young master." Wang Xiu smiled and said, "Immortal Tao is vast and full of dangers. It is always dangerous to be alone. I see that many fellow Taoists from various major immortal sects have come today. If you think there are any of these boys and girls that you have a connection with, you might as well bring them back to the sect and teach them well." As soon as these words came out, the expressions of the practitioners in the crowd changed and they were completely surprised. "Master Wang, your Wang family doesn't want these immortal seedlings." Wang Xiu shook his head and said gently, "I am not holding the Ascension Conference for the Wang family." The monks of Chengyan sect asked puzzledly, "What is that for?" Wang Xiu sighed and said, "I believe you all know that I am only called the young master of the Wang family, but I have a broken meridian and cannot practice cultivation. I know the pain very well. Therefore, Wang does not want other people who have the talent to practice cultivation to miss the true opportunity to become an immortal due to lack of money. If I can help more people embark on the immortal Tao, it would also be like seeing the scenery on that road on my behalf, right?" Listening to Wang Emu's sincere words, the monk from Chengyan sect was suddenly stunned. Suddenly, I felt a deep regret and self-blame in my heart. He slapped himself in the face. I really deserve to die. What did I ask? Am I human? During the event, many sentimental people had tears in their eyes and felt a little sad. Some girls even burst into tears. Who said that the young master of the Wang family is a bad person? Rumors, all rumors. Master Wang is a good man, the best man in the world. Master Wang, I promise you that I will practice hard and will never let you down. Quote, quote. Zixia looked at Wang Emu's profile quietly. That profile looks familiar. But to her, it seemed a little strange. Young master is indeed very different from before. It's like he suddenly became a different person. So beneath the young master's usually unruly appearance, he has such thoughts. Or is this what growth is? The first Ascension Conference. It ended in this atmosphere. In order to allow those people from small sects to recruit people freely, Wang Yu chose to withdraw directly. Really? See Wang Yu and others disappear. The pressure on those ascetics was suddenly reduced, and they began to extend olive branches to those boys and girls who were detected to have spirit root. Everyone, please come to my Chengyan sect. My Chengyan sect is the most friendly to newcomers. Friendship is useless. I am the leader of the Lisha sect, but I am the real foundation building overhaul. As long as you enter, I guarantee that no one will dare to bully you. Quote. If it were before, although they also recruit low-grade spirit root monks. But they would not accept cultivators who had not even completed the qi refining first layer. After all, the sect is not a shelter. As long as useful people. But now it's different. These people have all received the skills bestowed by Wang Yu. It's no exaggeration to say. As long as they are given time, almost all of them can become the backbone of the Immortal sect. The most important thing, this technique was bestowed by the young master of the Wang family. Others don't dare to make any plans. Although the young master said that these people had nothing to do with the Wang family. But, what if? Do you dare to bet? It is not easy to gain the 9 clans of anyone. Who wouldn't want such a talented person with stable development potential? At the same time, the specific content of this Ascension Conference was also spread to thousands of households with the deliberate promotion of Li Yuanhua and others. What? The Immortal Ascension Conference is not a trap. Is it really just a simple test of aptitude? What? After measuring the spirit root, you don't just tie it up with a hemp rope, but also give it a spirit stone. Middle grade spirit root gives you a middle grade spirit stone. What? Even if the spirit root is not detected, you will still give me a copy of the martial Dao technique. What? The young master of the Wang family made hundreds of little girls cry. What a beast. Quote. There is no doubt that this information has caused earth-shaking changes in the hearts of ordinary people who originally avoided the Ascension Conference. The heart that was originally determined not to participate gradually began to waver regarding the fact that the young master of the Wang family has changed his gender. It is still difficult for people to accept it. After all, it is always harder to whitewash than to destroy a house. But the story was spread so true. It also made them unable to help but ask around. Soon, they got the definite answer. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel. Check out our playlist for more amazing novels. Chapter 15, Enlightenment of the Immortal Heart, Little Girl. No more running. It's true. Haven't you seen the little kids who have found out their spirit root? Each of them is beaming with joy, holding a handful of sparkling spirit stone in their hands. Any one of them could be exchanged for a huge sum of 100 taels of silver. Let the family live without worries about food and clothing for half of their lives. There is nothing more immediate than this kind of stimulation. Then, the next day, the number of people coming to the Ascension Conference has obviously increased several times compared to yesterday. There was a huge crowd of at least 10,000 people participating in the test. Dai Gangman, low-grade earth spirit root. 10 low-grade spirit stones as a reward. Quote. Ji Baichang, low-grade water spirit root. 10 low-grade spirit stones as a reward. Quote. Liao Bushi, middle-grade wood spirit root. Reward. A middle-grade spirit stone. Quote. The testing process proceeded in an orderly manner. At the end of the day, we found more than 400 low-grade spirit roots and 3 middle-grade spirit roots. As usual, Wang Yu gave everyone skills with corresponding attributes. Immediately following, Day 3, Day 4. There are more and more people. People were talking about this matter everywhere in the streets and alleys. Hey, Lao Lu, did you test it? I tested it, but mine doesn't work, nothing. How about you? Haha, My daughter was found to have a low-grade water spirit root, and has been taken away by an immortal master. He even gave us a large sum of money before he left. Really? Oh my, I really envy you. You don't have to worry about the rest of your life, you can enjoy life. No way, no way. The granddaughter of the old man in the south of the city is really amazing, middle-grade spirit root. Oh, really? Quote. Similar conversations occur frequently. These conversations related to the spiritual world have rarely been so heated among ordinary mortals in the past. Because there are very few people like Wang Xiu. Regardless of the cost, among mortals, we are testing spirit root on a large scale to find immortal seedlings. For a while, it actually gives people an illusion. Spirit root seems to be becoming worthless. Besides, these days are the biggest gain. The most popular ones are the sects near the Great Liang royal city, which are busy recruiting disciples. In the past, they basically only recruited those true cultivators who had worked hard in the cultivation world. Because the fairy seedlings are hard to find, those who can tell at a glance whether others have spirit root are all big shots. Most of them require the help of spirit stone or spirit array. So, occasionally, the elders or the head of the sect would go out, and occasionally they would come across a young person whose spirit root had not been detected, and occasionally they would be kind enough to point out a clear path. This is called immortal fate. This is the only way to recruit real newcomers. But it's different now. Wang Xiu directly let those immortal seedlings show their true colors, completely exposing them in front of them. He also bestowed upon me a powerful technique. If you don't recruit people aggressively now, what are you waiting for? Are you waiting for newcomers from the hostile forces to rise up and destroy you? So, the competition among the major sects to recruit talents is also very fierce. Especially those geniuses of middle-grade spirit root. Even more so, that person is expected to be the one who will overhaul the foundation building. Lu Ju, low-grade gold spirit root. On the palace square, the monk in charge suddenly stopped and looked towards the thin figure standing in the center of the spirit testing formation. It can be vaguely seen that it is a little girl. He was dirty all over, just like a little beggar. The faint blue light rising around the formation revealed her qualifications: low-grade water spirit root. Such qualifications are not surprising. What really gave him pause was the other person's name. Nanan, low-grade water spirit root. 10 low-grade spirit stones as a reward. Nanan, strictly speaking, this is not a real name. It is a nickname for daughters in many families. It means the same thing as son. Who would have a name like that? What is your real name? The monk who was conducting the test frowned. My name is Nanan. The girl's voice was hard, like dry and cold stone in winter, with a sense of stiffness that comes from not often speaking to people. That's what my family calls me. The sudden episode attracted a lot of people's attention. Wang Xiu was originally nurturing spirit with his eyes closed. When he heard the noise, he opened his eyes and glanced down. Name: Nanan. Race: human race. Qualification: low grade. Features: enlightened immortal heart not awakened, highly intelligent, good at creating impossible miracles. Investing in natural treasures that can inspire spiritual wisdom and enhance the connection between heaven and man has a chance to awaken the physique. Investment evaluation: luck is great, investment is highly recommended. Closing square bracket. Opening square bracket, closing square bracket. Wang Xiu slowly sat up from his lying position, staring at the little girl below with sparkling eyes. Qualification of low-grade spirit root. But have great luck. Is this really the loser son of fortune? Wang Xiu pursed his lips. As expected, people should do more good deeds and they will be blessed. The Ascension Conference has only been held for a few days. Son of Fortune came to your door. Moreover, he is a completely new son of fortune who has never been offended by his predecessor. God really favors good people. Young master, is there something wrong with this little beggar? Li Yuanhua was always paying attention to Wang Emu's reaction and asked questions quickly. Wang Xiu did not respond to this question, but just said, "Bring her up." Yes. After a moment, the little beggar was brought in front of Wang Xiu. He clenched his fists tightly, looked at Wang Xiu vigilantly, his body trembling slightly, and seemed quite nervous. Wang Xiu said softly, "Don't be nervous, I have no ill intentions." Little Nanan pursed her lips and remained silent. Wang Xiu asked softly, "How old are you, little sister?" 10 years old. Where are your family members?" "I have no family." Little Nanan bit her lip, staring straight at the pastries and fruits in front of Wang Xiu. Wang Yu smiled, picked up a piece of cake, and waved to her, "Come, come here." The little girl hesitated for a moment, but couldn't bear the sense of crisis in her stomach, so she walked over step by step, took the pastry from Wang Emu's hand, stuffed it into her mouth, and gobbled it up. "Eat slowly, there's more here, all yours." Little Nanan was concentrating on eating and didn't say anything, but Wang Yu could clearly feel that she was less wary of him. Wang Yu tilted his head and ordered, "Take her downstairs, give her a bath, change into clean clothes, and prepare a good meal." Zixia responded respectfully, "Yes, young master." This is just an episode. Wang Yu was in a high place and there was a barrier around him. Unless he showed up on his own initiative, others would not be able to see clearly what Wang Yu was doing. Only Li Yuanhua and others were puzzled as to why the young master cared so much about an ordinary little beggar. But I didn't dare to ask. At the same time, a jade slip shot out from the barrier of Tianhuang Island. Sink into the void and disappear. Langya Chamber of Commerce. Headquarters. It was late autumn, and the ground in Wudong Garden was covered with golden leaves, creating a beautiful scene. A woman with a noble temperament and silver hair like a waterfall was leaning leisurely under the largest parasol tree. In front of her, 10 figures stood respectfully. If anyone knows them here, you will be surprised to find out. These people are the 10 most famous heads of the Langya Chamber of Commerce. Each of them holds great power, and the wealth that passes through their hands every day is an astronomical figure. Even the prime ministers and dukes of the great Shah Immortal dynasty had to take the initiative to greet them when they met them. But in front of the silver-threaded woman, they were extremely respectful. She is the founder of Langya Chamber of Commerce. A one-of-a-kind woman. Nalan Rongyan. Chapter 16. I'd even let my grandson bankrupt the Chamber of Commerce. President, these days, the Yunlai Chamber of Commerce has been targeting us more and more excessively. Among the 10 leaders, Renping Sheng, who has the most seniority, said with a serious expression. Yes, not only did they use despicable means and maliciously cut prices, they also teamed up with other small chambers of commerce to suppress us. We are doing business, so peace is the most important thing. Do you think we should write a letter and have a good talk with the Yunlai Chamber of Commerce? Quote. All the leaders echoed. Nalan Rongyan's expression was calm. Time has left no trace on her. She has fair skin and a graceful and beautiful appearance. At first glance, she looks like a young woman in her 20s or 30s. But that temperament, like the depths of the ocean, does not make people feel any contempt. Anyone who knows her knows that. Back then, she started from scratch and founded the Langya Chamber of Commerce. She has been active in the business world, eliminating countless opponents until today. This is something that not everyone can do. Faced with the slightly noisy voices of a group of people in charge, she simply tapped the armrest twice, and everyone fell silent. In business, profit is the most important thing. How can you not fight for it? The business world is like a battlefield. Is it okay to just surrender when you encounter the enemy? Nalan Rongyan said in a neither light nor heavy voice. Everyone was silent. I feel that things are different now than they were in the past. Our opponent is Yunlai, one of the 4 major chambers of commerce in the Northern Territory. Whether in terms of financial or material resources, it is no weaker than us. We are now a wealthy family. It would be unwise to rashly go to war with the other side. Moreover, everyone knows why the Yunlai Chamber of Commerce targets the Langya Chamber of Commerce. President, have you heard about the Ascension Conference held by the young master on Tianhuang Island? Renping Sheng suddenly said. What do you want to say? Nalan Rongyan still did not open his eyes. Just a few simple words doubled Renping Sheng's pressure. It felt like a mountain was pressing down on my back. Renping Sheng held on, cupped his hands and said, at this critical moment, if young master spends lavishly like this, it may be detrimental to our Chamber of Commerce. As soon as the words were spoken, the whole yard fell silent. The ground was covered with golden sycamore leaves, like burning golden flames. Now, the fire is out. Only desolation remains. A thick chill enveloped everyone. All the leaders broke out in cold sweats and their hearts beat in their throats. Everyone knows. The president is open-minded and can accept any suggestion, no matter how unreasonable it is. But there is only one thing that I cannot accept. That is, someone said something bad about her grandson. There is no doubt that this is Nalan Rongyan's Achilles heel. Go on. Nalan Rongyan slowly opened her eyes, with a hint of mockery and coldness in her beautiful eyes, as she looked at Renping Sheng. I suggest that you temporarily ban the young master from using the Chamber of Commerce's spirit stone and resources until the situation improves. Ren Pingsheng said stiffly. Nalan Rongyan slowly sat up from the rocking chair, picked up a piece of fallen leaves on her body and flicked it away. First of all, Moore did not use the spirit stone of the Chamber of Commerce to hold the Ascension Conference, but used his own pocket money. Secondly, even if he did use the Chamber of Commerce's spirit stone and resources, so what? Quote. Ren Pingsheng said seriously, the Chamber of Commerce is now at a critical period. So what? Nalan Rongyan's voice was still soft, but it was like a hammer, striking into everyone's heart. She stood up. She was not very tall. The overwhelming momentum was like Mount Tai, pressing everyone down so hard that they bent over and dared not raise their heads. The Chamber of Commerce was founded by me. Don't say that the spirit stones that Moore has spent now are just a drop in the ocean for the entire Chamber of Commerce. Even if one day, he really squanders all the money in the Chamber of Commerce, as long as my precious grandson is happy. I'm happy with it. Nalan Rongyan looked around at everyone. Is it clear enough? Clear, clear. This is the last time. From now on, if I hear someone say something similar, don't blame me for being ruthless. Ren Pingsheng lowered his head, his face flushed red, and he gritted his teeth, but he couldn't utter a word. Just at this moment, a jade slip broke through the air and came in front of Nalan Rongyan. Nalan Rongyan's eyebrows suddenly raised. The jade slips that Wang Xiu used to communicate with them were all specially made and easy to identify. She took off the jade slip and scanned it with her spiritual sense to see the contents clearly. Then he looked at Ren Pingsheng and said, go to the warehouse and get 2 kilograms of this year's newest Wudao tea leaves. Send them to Tianhuang Island immediately. Moore needs them urgently. Enlightenment, tea leaves. Everyone's mouth corners twitched. This is a treasure famous throughout the immortal cultivation world, which can help people gain enlightenment and comprehend the laws of heaven and earth. Even though the Langya Chamber of Commerce is as rich as a country, there are very few such things. Besides, treasures like this can't be measured by kilograms. Every ounce is priceless, okay. But after that exchange just now, Ren Pingsheng and the others no longer dared to question anything. They just sighed in their hearts and left. Tianhuang Island. In the palace, there was a whole table filled with delicacies from land and sea. The little girl sat at the table, wolfing down her food like a starving ghost. After some cleaning, she no longer looked like the little beggar. She is a very cute little girl with picturesque eyebrows and delicate features. She is a real beauty. After a while, little Nanan finally couldn't eat anymore, so she collapsed on the seat, touching her round belly. Suddenly, she noticed that Wang Xiu had been sitting beside her, looking at her quietly with a faint smile. There was a sudden sense of discomfort in his expression. She gritted her teeth and whispered, can you sleep with me later? Wang Xiu. Little Nanan said a little embarrassedly, I'm too full, it's hard to deal with. Wang Xiu. What nonsense are you talking about? Wang Mu's mouth twitched slightly, what do you mean by sleep or not? Where did a child learn such nonsense? Little Nanan stared at Wang Xiu. Everyone says that you are the most lustful man in the world. No matter if they are young or old, or even non-human, you will not let them go. Quote. I have poor qualifications and nothing. Why are you so nice to me? Why? There was a hint of resignation in little Nanan's voice. Although she was young, she had obviously experienced enough and was smart enough not to be treated as a normal 10-year-old girl. Rumors, all rumors. Wang Xiu said righteously, I am a good person. Oh, little Nanan blinked her big eyes, this doesn't conflict with your lust. Wang Xiu. Makes sense. Who says good people can't be lustful? Wang Xiu decided not to continue on this topic and said, I heard that you have a sister. As soon as these words came out, little Nanan's face changed drastically, with deep fear and a flash of hatred in her eyes. She shook her head and said, no. No. Wang Xiu approached and gently stroked the other person's head, don't be afraid, I have no ill intentions. No one can hurt you here. Not even that person. Little Nanan's petite body trembled. The stiff body slowly calmed down. Chapter 17 Tang Qian's Past. Karma and Reincarnation. Sister is gone, father and mother are gone too, killed by bad guys. Little Nanan pouted and tears welled up in her eyes. Wang Xiu had a complicated expression and gently patted the little girl's shoulder to comfort her. Little Nanan originally had a relatively happy family. I have a sister and parents. Make a living by fishing on a small island. Until one day, Suddenly the whole family was wiped out, and all the members of the family died tragically. And the death was miserable. Even the soul was sucked out and wiped out completely. That island is very remote. So Li Yuanhua could only find out that much. When he reported to Wang Xiu, he suspected that it was the evil cultivator who was at work. Because the brutal method of not only killing people but also wiping out their souls is really not something that an ordinary cultivator would do. After all, justice is clear and there is retribution in the dark. People who practice spiritual cultivation especially value this point. At the same time, Li Yuanhua was also surprised that little Nanan was able to escape, and said that the little girl was very lucky. Can you not be lucky? Wang Xiu sighed secretly. This is definitely the fate of a protagonist, but it's a rather miserable kind. With Wang Mu's comfort, little girl's emotions gradually stabilized. Start talking about what happened back then. It all started when her sister picked up a man on the beach. The man was seriously injured and washed onto an unknown island by the waves. The elder sister took good care of him, and they fell in love with each other. They got married and the elder sister became pregnant. Later, the man left, saying that he was going to seek the immortals and would come back to lead his family to live a good life. However, the day he returned brought disaster to the family. Overnight, the entire family was wiped out. The sister who was about to give birth had her head and body separated and her body shattered. Only the little girl escaped by luck. Do you remember what that person's name was? Remember. Little Nanan gritted her teeth and said, his name is Tang Qian. Quote. Wang Xiu couldn't help smacking his lips. There are always such coincidences in the world. In the past, in order to resolve the curse in his body, his mother Luo Xuanxuang went to kill a peerless monster immortal. The monster immortal conceived a child with a human. Later, by chance, he married into the Yunlai Chamber of Commerce. His name is Tang Qian. Wang Xiu snapped his fingers and a portrait appeared in front of him, depicting a bright and spirited man. Is it him? Yes, it's him. Little Nanan gritted her teeth, hatred gushing from her eyes. She could never forget this face even if she turned into ashes. Sure enough, it's not a duplicate name. Calculate the time. At that time, Tang Qian should have just escaped to the Northern Territory. Haven't joined the Yunlai Chamber of Commerce yet. Then things gradually became clear. Tang Qian was filled with hatred, and in order to overthrow the Wang family, it was impossible for him to waste his life on that nameless island. He left the island originally to improve his own strength, but unexpectedly he met the daughter of Yunlai Chamber of Commerce, which saved him countless years of hard work and practice. However, his wife, who had been with him through thick and thin, became his fatal weakness. If the daughter of the Yunlai Chamber of Commerce knew that he was married and his wife was pregnant, even if the young lady didn't care, the people in the Chamber of Commerce would not agree. Therefore, silencing him became a natural thing. Wang Xiu touched his chin and felt that this matter suddenly became absurd and interesting. That year, his mother accidentally let a son of fortune go. Now it has become a major threat to the Lengya Chamber of Commerce. And he, Tang Qian, became the modern-day Chen Shimei, who abandoned his wife after having s*x with her. When he did bad things, he actually let a son of fortune go. Sure enough, people still have to do good things. If you do evil, you will be punished sooner or later. I didn't expect that the new son-in-law of Yunlai Chamber of Commerce would be such a person. Tisk, you can only judge a person by his appearance but not his heart. That Tang Qian is so much worse than our young master. Quote. On the side, Zixia, Li Yuanhua and others shook their heads and sighed. What a beast! What a beast! Wang Xiu pointed at Tang Qian's portrait and cursed. A man of 7 feet tall actually abandoned his wife for the sake of wealth and fame, and even killed her when she was pregnant. I, Wang Xiu, will never coexist with such beasts and scums. Little Nanan stared at Wang Xiu, a little hesitant, but, that person is very powerful now. Wang Xiu sneered, there are always people who are better than you. No matter how strong Tang Qian is, there will always be a prodigy who is stronger than him. Li Yuanhua clapped his hands and shouted, great! Young master, you have great ambitions. I admire you as much as the ocean, boundless and endless. The little girl's eyes turned bright as she looked at Wang Xiu. Wang Xiu said, I didn't say me, I was talking about you. Little girl. Zixia. Li Yuanhua. Me. Can I do it? Little Nanan's eyes dimmed and she lowered her head somewhat unconfidently. Originally, she came to test her spirit root in the hope that she would have the opportunity to practice and seek revenge one day in the future. But after the test results came out, I was inevitably disappointed. Low-grade spirit root is destined to have limited achievements, and revenge is unlikely to happen. Wang Xiu smiled slightly. Aren't you very curious about why I should take special care of you? Little Nanan asked seriously. Isn't it because you are lustful? Wang Xiu said righteously. Of course not. It's because I see that you are extraordinary. Although you only have a low-grade spirit root, you are born with a heart of enlightenment. With just a little guidance and some opportunities, you can achieve dragon transformation. But if you give up hope, you will be no different from a walking corpse. Little Nanan looked at him suspiciously. You are not lying to me, are you? Wang Xiu chuckled and pointed at Zixia. She is my personal maid. She has been with me since she was young and knows me best. Zixia, tell her honestly, have I ever lied to anyone? Zixia. She looked at Xiao Nanan, then at Wang Xiu. The corners of her mouth twitched for a long time, and said, no, the young master is the most honest person in the world. After saying this, Zixia slowly turned her back and covered her heart. It's bad, I can't find my conscience anymore. Just at this moment, a guard walked in quickly. Young master, the things sent by the Chamber of Commerce have arrived. So soon. Bring it here. Wang Mu's eyes lit up and he took a space ring from the other party. The next second, a copper jar appeared in his hand. He opened the seal of the copper jar, and a faint, refreshing fragrance instantly spread out, filling the entire room. Li Yuanhua's nose twitched slightly, his pupils shrank, and he stared at the pottery jar in Wang Mu's hand. Then, could it be? Wang Xiu reached into the jar with one hand, took out a dozen tiny golden tea leaves, put them into the cup, and brewed them directly with boiling water. The aroma is stronger. Li Yuanhua and Zixia felt that their brains were empty at this moment, and they felt as if their souls were gently caressed. It can't be wrong, it can't be wrong. Li Yuanhua's breathing quickened. It is indeed the enlightenment tea. Come, drink it. Wang Xiu handed the teacup to the little girl. What is this? Little Nanan smelled it and her eyes lit up. It smelled so good. Good stuff, very nutritious, drinking it will make you smarter. Hearing this, little Nana looked at him suspiciously. Wang Xiu, are you lying to the kids? Wang Xiu. Chapter 18. The Awakening of the Immortal Heart. Terrifying comprehension. Should I say it or not? These words do seem to be intended to deceive children. But God bless you, Wang Xiu didn't lie this time. Therefore, he did not feel guilty at all. How could it be? It's really a good thing. If you drink it, your enlightenment and immortal heart may awaken. Few children like to drink tea. The same is true for little Nanan. But, when Wang Xiu said that after drinking this thing, there is a chance to awaken the immortal heart of enlightenment, and you can practice and become very strong. Little Nanan drank the tea without hesitation, frowning. It's so bitter. Of course it's bitter. Wu Dao tea is much heavier than ordinary tea. Wang Xiu just put in a dozen slices, about 1/3 of an ounce. Just used a small teacup to brew it. It would be strange if it wasn't bitter. It's a little bitter at first, but then it becomes sweeter. You'll get used to it. Come on, drink more. Wang Xiu poured another glass of wine for little Nanan and urged her to drink it immediately. She drank 5 or 6 cups in a row, and later Wang Xiu even asked her to chew and swallow the tea leaves. Then he took out new tea leaves and continued brewing. Less, it's too bitter. The little girl had a bitter face and her brows were furrowed all the time. Watching this scene, Li Yuanhua, who was standing aside, felt his heart bleeding. What an ignorant little girl. You really don't know how lucky you are. That's the enlightenment tea. I have lived for more than 1,000 years, and I have only heard of it, but never even smelled it. You, on the other hand, keep drinking one cup after another. You actually dislike the bitterness of tea. That's too much. Moreover, isn't this brewing method of the young master too wasteful? Besides, how could a little girl like her, who didn't even have a qi refining stage, drink the enlightenment tea? Does she have the truth to realize it? What a waste. Ding. Congratulations, you have successfully invested in Nanan Wu Dao tea, and the investment progress has reached 10%. Closing square bracket. You will receive 10% of Nanan's subsequent training effect benefits as a reward. Opening square bracket, closing square bracket. Congratulations, you have successfully invested in Nanan Wu Dao tea, and the investment progress has reached 20%. Closing square bracket. You will receive 20% of Nanan's subsequent training effect benefits as a reward. I don't know how many cups of tea I drank. Finally. I want to pee. Little Nanan looked at Wang Xiu embarrassedly. Take her there. Wang Emu's mouth twitched slightly. After a while, Zixia ran back holding little Nanan. Master, little Nanan has fallen asleep. Wang Xiu, let her sleep first, and continue when she wakes up. Yes, the energy contained in Wudao tea is too abundant. The little girl is still weak. Some people are too weak to be nourished. This sleep lasted for a whole day and a night. Fortunately, after waking up, she became energetic and the light in her eyes became much brighter. Wang Yu continued to feed her the Wudao tea. Opening square bracket comma closing square bracket. Congratulations, you have successfully invested in Nanan Wudao tea, and the investment progress has reached 50%. Closing square bracket. You will receive 50% of Nanan's subsequent training effect benefits back. Opening square bracket comma closing square bracket. Congratulations, you have successfully invested in Nanan Wudao tea, and the investment progress has reached 100%. Closing square bracket. You will receive 100% of Nanan's subsequent training effect benefits back. Congratulations host, your invested girl has absorbed and refined the enlightenment tea leaves and awakened the talent characteristic, enlightenment immortal heart. Congratulations, you have received a reward for your cultivation effect from Nanan. Congratulations on obtaining the enlightenment heart, and your understanding has been improved beyond measure. As a series of prompt sounds rang out from the system, Wang Emu's mind was shaken. He felt the clouds and fog dissipate, and the whole world became clearer in his eyes. My thoughts raced, and my entire sea of consciousness became clear. He closed his eyes and thought for a moment. The incomplete version of 8 Extremes Collapsing Heaven Fist obtained from Lin Yan seemed to come alive and automatically began to supplement and improve the following content. It was as if there were thousands of little people in his mind, helping him to deduce and perfect his ideas. Just a moment. The Baji Bengtian Quan, which originally had only 30% of its power, was derived to 50%. Is this the enlightenment heart? My brain is comparable to a transcendent-level quantum computer. In fact, the predecessor's qualifications were not bad. After all, he is the offspring of 2 Earth immortals. Both his bloodline and talents are at the highest apex level. He is just cursed and cannot practice. Compare it to who I am now. The qualifications of the predecessor were no different from those of a block of wood. The gap is really too big. Only those who have experienced it can understand. With this kind of understanding, Wang Yu felt that even deducing the level of the Sun Emperor Sutra was possible. However, if you want to achieve that step, you still need to supplement a lot of knowledge related to cultivation as a foundation. It cannot be created out of thin air. Of course, Wang Yu was just thinking about it. He couldn't possibly spend so much time on such things. After all, he doesn't need to practice himself, so the skills are not important. Moreover, things like improving one's cultivation foundation can be taught to a girl like Xiao Nanan who has great ambitions. If she understood, it meant that Wang Yu understood. At the same time, little Nanan fell asleep again. Wait for her to wake up. She will also realize the tremendous changes that enlightenment of the immortal mind has brought to her. The awakening of the immortal heart of enlightenment is not like some powerful sacred body and divine body, which can trigger huge visions in heaven and earth. On the contrary, he is unusually low-key and restrained. Apart from Wang Yu, even Li Yuanhua from soul formation stage failed to notice Nanan's changes. At most, it felt like the little girl's eyes seemed to become clearer and more lively. But this is well explained. After all, if you drink so much enlightenment tea, even a pig can speak human language on the spot. Young master, today's Ascension Conference has begun. Li Yuanhua reminded respectfully. Well, go and take a look. Wang Yu took a step and walked out of the room. The Ascension Conference is already on its 7th day. After these days of rendering, Wang Emu's impression in the minds of the people of Tianhuang Island has greatly improved. At least, in Great Liang Royal City and the surrounding cities, everyone agrees that Master Wang Yu is the best person in the world. There is an endless stream of people coming to test their spirit root qualifications. There were only 3,000 people on the first day. But in the past 2 days, the number has exceeded 100,000. Because there are too many people, Li Yuanhua specially arranged 7 or 8 venues to disperse the flow of people and surrounded the royal palace. The larger the base number, the higher the probability of a genius appearing. On the 4th day, a talented girl with high-grade thunder spirit root was detected, which caused a great sensation. This is a seedling that has the potential to become a gold core true monarch. Moreover, it is an extremely rare thunder spirit root that is best at killing. The major sects were fighting so hard that their brains were about to burst out. Eventually, he was recruited into the Yanri sect, one of the 3 major sects on Tianhuang Island. Wang Xiu came to the high platform in the center of the palace. Li Yuanhua respectfully took out a specially made recliner and placed it behind Wang Xiu. Wang Xiu lay down slowly and found that this position was excellent. Even lying on his side, he could clearly overlook the situation at every test site. It seemed that there was no such platform before. Wang Xiu asked. "Oh, yes. Our ancestors saw that you liked to quietly observe the test site from a high place, so they specially asked us to build such a place." Liang Wang Li Cheng replied respectfully. Wang Xiu glanced at Li Yuanhua and said with satisfaction, "That's thoughtful." Li Yuanhua instantly held his head high, with his hair full of silver hair flying. It is an honor for this old slave to be able to share the worries of the young master. Wang Xiu took out a small package from his arms and threw it over. Li Yuanhua took it carefully, and as soon as he got it, he smelled a familiar fragrance. Suddenly, his whole body began to tremble. Is this the enlightenment tea? For this old slave. Wang Xiu waved his hand. "Take it, you should be able to use it." Li Yuanhua instantly fell to his knees, tears welling up in his eyes. This old slave kowtows to thank the young master for his grace. Chapter 19 Quantitative change leads to qualitative change. Foundation building is successful. Ding! Congratulations, you have successfully invested in Li Yuanhua Wudao Tea, and the investment progress has reached 30%. Closing square bracket. You will receive 30% of Li Yuanhua's subsequent training effect benefits back. The difficulty of system investment is determined by a combination of factors such as the target's strength, potential, and worth. The little girl is still weak, but has amazing potential and will have great room for development in the future, which means a huge rate of return. Therefore, it will be relatively more difficult to invest. Wang Xiu consumed more than a pound of Wudao tea. In fact, all Son of Fortune are like this. If you invest the same level of natural resources and treasures in others, the progress may be accelerated, but if you invest in them, the effect will be much smaller. For example, in the case of Lin Yan before, one sea spirit flame only increased the progress to 30%. That is a rare item on the spirit fire list. In some ways, it is more rare than Wudao tea. Because there are only a few Wudao tea trees, although they are controlled by major forces, they can still produce stably, just in small quantities. But if you want to obtain a treasure like the sea spirit flame, you really need a great opportunity. If the time and place are not right, it is common for not a single flower to be born for hundreds or thousands of years. Although Li Yuanhua has a strong cultivation base, he is old and his potential has been mostly exhausted. If there is no great opportunity in the future, the probability of him making another breakthrough will be very small. This means the rate of return is not great. Therefore, Wang Xiu only used less than 1 or 2 ounces of Wudao tea to increase his investment progress to 30%. After this comparison, Wang Xiu increasingly felt that his strategy of casting a wide net was correct. After all, even if he was given a lot of Son of Fortune, Wang Xiu had no idea whether he could invest all of it with the financial resources of the Langya Chamber of Commerce. Wow! The crowd suddenly burst into an uproar. Wake Wang Xiu up from his thoughts. His eyes fell on the testing site where the noise came from. It turned out that there was a genius of supreme grade and spirit root discovered over there. Supreme grade spirit root means that one has the potential to become a venerable at the nascent soul stage. This is already amazing. You must know that even if the Li Liang royal family has the soul formation ancestor in charge, they cannot guarantee that every king of Liang will have the cultivation level of the nascent soul period. How many people have been tested in these days? Wang Xiu suddenly asked. Young master, in the past 7 days, a total of more than 500,800 people have been tested. Li Yuanhua responded without hesitation. 500,000 people, this is just the first supreme grade spirit root, right? Wang Xiu touched his chin, feeling that this ratio seemed too exaggerated. But Li Yuanhua was optimistic. This is already pretty good. In the past, even if we searched the entire Tianhuang island for decades, we might not find a supreme grade spirit root. This is all thanks to your great blessing, young master. Wang Xiu smiled lightly and said nothing. He knew that when Li Yuanhua mentioned searching all over Tianhuang island, it would definitely not be possible to search door to door like he was doing. The probability of missing is still relatively high. The most we can do is count those who entered the Immortal Gate by chance and displayed their talent's supreme grade spirit root. However, Li Yuanhua was right about one thing. If it weren't for Wang Emu's determination to test spirit root among the entire nation at all costs. 9 out of 10 of the immortal seedlings below cannot be discovered, and most of them will remain mortals and live a mediocre life. In cultivating immortals, not only talent is important, luck is also very important. Wang Xiu is the luck of those immortal seedlings from poor families. It's strange. When the high-grade spirit root was discovered before, all the major sects fought fiercely for it. But now I have discovered prodigy of supreme-grade spirit root. These forces did not move. What's going on? Why don't they rob? Some curious people in the crowd were surprised and puzzled. What are you fighting for? It's fine to fight for the ordinary high-grade spirit root and middle-grade spirit root. But the prodigy of the supreme-grade spirit root can have a place even among the disciples of the sacred land. The young master of the Wang family has spent so much manpower and material resources to organize such an ascension conference. It is impossible that in the end, he will come away empty-handed. That would make us look so immature. Not bad, not bad. My sect has already accepted a prodigy with high-grade spirit root. That's enough. Supreme-grade spirit root is too dazzling. It's time for this person to return to the Wang family. Quote. Everyone was talking about it. All eyes turned to the platform where Wang Xiu was. Wang Xiu took those words into his ears and couldn't help laughing. Spread the word, let them fight for it. Wang Xiu, keep my word. This ascension conference is only to let all the spirit root talents in the world get the opportunity to practice. It is definitely not for the personal gain of my Wang family. Li Yuanhua blinked. Really? Wang Xiu said calmly, let go. Li Yuanhua agreed, also somewhat surprised. Is the young master's vision really so high? Even the genius of supreme-grade spirit root is not worthy of your attention. Then why did you fall for a little beggar? The young master is worthy of being the young master, his mind is as deep as the ocean, unpredictable. The news got out. The atmosphere in the venue suddenly became lively. Really? Did the young master of the Wang family really say that? The Li family's ancestor personally delivered the message, how could it be false? What a good man. Young Master Wang is truly a great man. Damn it, this is so weird. Has the young master of the Wang family really changed his personality? The Leiji sect, am willing to invite the supreme-grade spirit root immortal seedling to enter our immortal gate as the young sect master. What's a young sect leader? My Taihua sect's nascent soul patriarch can accept him as a true disciple and teach him everything he knows. Quote. The major sects began to compete for it, releasing their own conditions, which made the prodigy of the high-grade and middle-grade spirit root extremely jealous. In the immortal cultivation world, if your qualifications are one level lower, the difference will be huge. This is indeed true. Why, your Li family has no interest in this supreme-grade spirit root fairy seedling. Wang Xiu looked at Li Yuanhua who had been guarding him and smiled. Of course I am interested. But since the young master has said that he wants all the major sects to fight for it, he must have his own considerations. Li Yuanhua said thoughtfully, I am worried that if I ruin young master's plan, it will be bad. Supreme-grade spirit root's prodigy, how could he not be interested? It should be noted that the current younger generation of the Li family has not yet had the supreme-grade spirit root appear. The next successor to the throne is still unknown. Fortunately, immortal cultivators have a long lifespan. King Liang Li Cheng can still live for a few hundred more years and have a chance to continue living. Moreover, the real pillar of the Li family lies in Li Yuanhua. If not, the Li family couldn't hold back any longer. Wang Xiu smiled but said nothing. In fact, he didn't mind the Li family fighting for it. To him, it was all the same, there was no difference. But to outsiders, today, the Li family completely obeys the Wang family. If the Li family took the person away, some people would inevitably speculate that this was Wang Emu's intention. If the time comes, it would be counterproductive to say that he said one thing in front of others and another behind their backs. Now is the critical moment for Wang Xiu to rebuild his reputation. Some details cannot be neglected. Although Li Yuanhua didn't know Wang Emu's exact intention, Wang Xiu was quite satisfied with his meticulous thinking. Finally, the 7th day of the Ascension Conference ended. Wang Xiu returned to the depths of the palace. Suddenly I felt a heat in my dantian. A powerful energy suddenly burst out from his body. This scared Li Yuanhua and Zixia who were beside him. Chapter 20 The Stunned Holy Lord of Beiming. This is, the foundation building. Wang Xiu was also stunned. He looked down at his hands and felt the vast magic power in his body, which was 10 times greater than before. It feels like a complete transformation. The Ascension Conference lasts for 7 days. He invested a total of more than 500,000 people. The number of monks born is about 20,000. The cultivation results of these people will be returned to Wang Xiu in the same proportion. Even if the amount of cultivation each person provided to Wang Xiu was very little. But taken together, it is an extremely considerable amount. Certainly. The most important thing is that Wang Xiu himself is not far from the foundation building. And the foundation is extremely solid. The breakthrough was a natural outcome. It's just a matter of shivering. On the side, Zixia and Li Yuanhua were stunned. Young master, isn't it impossible to practice cultivation? Where does this mysterious and powerful aura come from? Wang Xiu said, I'm going back to my room. Don't disturb me if nothing happens. Yes, sir. They both said in unison. Li Yuanhua buried his head tightly, not daring to raise it, and felt a terrifying chill enveloping him. His head was buzzing. Could it be that the rumor is false? Can the young master actually practice cultivation? The reason why the Wang family publicized this way was to let the young master keep a low profile. When I think about what the young master has been doing these days, it is completely different from what has been rumored. Li Yuanhua's heart suddenly sank, feeling like he had uncovered some huge secret. Cold sweat kept dripping from his forehead. Wang Xiu returned to the house, sat cross-legged on the couch, and checked his own changes. There is a very obvious difference between foundation building stage and chi refining stage. That is, chi refining stage monks need to use magic treasure weapons to fly, such as flying swords, flying gourds, flying sisters. But foundation building monks don't need it. It is possible to walk in the air, and one's own magic power is enough to support flight. Wang Xiu held a blood-red jade pendant around his neck. This item is called suspended band, which can detect any form of spying and perception under Earth Immortal. It can take effect automatically without mana, and the effect will be stronger if mana is injected. At the same time, several powerful spells are hidden. It is the law treasure given to him by his mother Luo Xuanxuang. With the infusion of magic power, a red transparent barrier spread out and covered the courtyard. Wang Xiu came to the yard and practiced the secret skills and divine ability in his mind. Tianhuang fighting dragon technique. The golden afterimage escapes. Baji collapsing heaven fist. As it was performed over and over again, the courtyard was filled with bright spiritual light, which sometimes transformed into a rock soaring into the sky with a terrifying momentum. Sometimes it is like the setting sun on the river and the sea, blending into the afterglow of dusk and disappearing. Sometimes he is domineering and fierce, like an ancient giant, shaking the earth and making the sky sway. Carefree. So refreshing. Wang Xiu performed the incomplete Baji Bengtian fist over and over again. His mind was full of ideas and his thoughts were running fast. The powerful understanding of the enlightened immortal heart is once again demonstrated. Continue to supplement and expand it. From 50% to 70% and then to 95%. Until it is fully completed. Wang Xiu threw a punch, and the void seemed to be shaking. All the fallen flowers in the yard flew into the air, turned into a tornado, gathered on the tip of Wang Mu's fist, and then exploded with a loud bang. The sky is filled with fallen leaves, fluttering down in the wind. Wang Xiu stood under the old poplar tree in the yard and slowly exhaled. Looking up, the golden morning sun comes into view. It turned out that a night had passed. More. A familiar and gentle female voice suddenly sounded behind Wang Xiu. Wang Xiu was stunned and turned around. A dignified and graceful figure was standing at the intersection of sunlight and darkness, looking at him with a complicated expression. Mom, why are you here? Wang Xiu was very surprised. The person who came was the Holy Lord of Baiming, Luo Xuanxuang. I heard from Zixia about what you did on Tianju Island. It was quite a big deal. I happened to have nothing to do these 2 days, so I thought of coming to see you. Luo Xuanxuang slowly walked up to Wang Xiu, her eyes still filled with incredible shock and complexity. I didn't expect that you gave me such a big surprise. Call it a surprise. In fact, it was more of a shock. Over the years, the Wang family, Baiming Sacred Land, and Langya Chamber of Commerce, 3 giant organizations, have tried every possible way to resolve the curse on Wang Xiu. But it still doesn't help. But unexpectedly, Wang Xiu was able to practice at some point. Moreover, the foundation building was successfully completed without any fanfare. Wang Xiu scratched his head, feeling a little guilty. Mom, I didn't hide it from you on purpose, I just haven't figured out how to tell you. Luo Xuanxuang raised her hand and gently brushed away the fallen leaves on Wang Emu's shoulders. She said softly, "It's right not to say anything. People in this cultivation world are treacherous. Not everyone can see you as well. Moore has grown up and has a secret." Listen to the hint of resentment in the voice. Wang Emu's scalp felt numb and he couldn't help coughing twice. "Mom, that's not what I meant." Luo Xuanxuang chuckled. "All right, I was just kidding you. I'm happy that you can practice, really happy." As he laughed, Luo Xuanxuang, the #1 sword immortal in Biming who had dominated the sacred land prodigy with one sword for a whole 1,000 years, actually had tears in his eyes and his voice became more choked. Wang Xiu integrated the memories of his previous life and understood how hard it was for his mother. He was silent for a long time, then said, "Actually, I had a dream one day. I dreamed that an old immortal told me that the curse on me could only be broken by doing good deeds. So I'm going to give it a try." Luo Xuanxuang opened her mouth and said, "More, if you don't have a good reason, you don't have to make it up." "Wang Xiu, give me your hand." "Oh." Luo Xuanxuang held Wang Emu's hand and felt it carefully. It is certainly a good thing that Wang Xiu can practice now. But it happened suddenly. Luo Xuanxuang still needed to check it out carefully, just in case it was a last gasp or something. In short, she was worried. However, during this inspection, Luo Xuanxuang's eyes were suddenly filled with shock. Such pure mana. As the Earth Immortal and the Holy Lord of the sacred land of Biming, she naturally practices the most supreme martial arts in the world. However, even she, in terms of the purity of her magic power, is not as good as her own son. You know, Wang Xiu is only at the foundation building stage now. This is not metaphysical at all. Could it be that Moore really turned a disaster into a blessing and awakened some special physical condition that had never been recorded? Suddenly, she remembered something and asked, "By the way, Moore, I just saw you perform those divine abilities, 2 of which don't seem to be human race skills, and the last boxing technique doesn't seem to be complete." Wang Xiu couldn't help but sigh at his mother's vision, and nodded, "Mom, you have good vision." The first 2 moves were deduced by the child from watching Fugi fight sea beasts. As for the last one, it was discovered by chance by the child, and I am trying to complete it now. It's really inconvenient to tell my mother about the system. Wang Xiu could only make up for it on his own. Hearing this, Luo Xuanxuang was even more shocked. With her keen eyesight, she could naturally see that whether it was the Sky Pung fighting dragon technique or the Skylight afterimage escape, they both captured the essence of the Pung clan's divine ability and were quite magical. Theoretically, given the limb structure and meridian structure of the human race, it is difficult to imitate the charm no matter how hard you try. But Wang Xiu did it. As for the last type of boxing, although Luo Xuanxuang had never seen it before, he could be sure that it was from an ancient apex-level divine ability. With the help of the fragments, Wang Xiu was able to complete it almost perfectly. What a terrifying understanding this is. Even if the ancient sages were still alive, it would probably be difficult to do so. Thank you for watching. Continue exploring the fascinating world of Chinese novels with us. Hit that subscribe button on Chinese Novel Audiobook to stay updated with our latest stories. And never miss out on a great listen.